What is up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode 154. Starfield is out. We have been playing this game since yesterday, after our 1 hour plus special PM in the PM that we had yesterday, which was a fun stream. I appreciate everybody checking that out last night, the lead up to launch. And just we've been taking it all in. Each of us has had our own experiences with this game, and this episode is kind of gonna be kind of sharing a little bit of that with you all, and kind of giving our impressions and talking about all this Starfield amazingness that we're experiencing. So, but I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you, chat. You guys rock. And yeah, Starfield's awesome. And that's all we're gonna do. So hey, have a good one, everybody. We're gonna go play Starfield. No, I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate you all being here as usual. You guys rock, and this is definitely a special game. We got an awesome panel to talk about it, so let's get to them. I want to start with the one and only Jasper. What's up, man?
Pretty good. Just been playing Starfield on low sleep. That's about it.
Right on. How little asleep?
About 4 hours.
That's normal for like a 40-year-old, right? When you get like middle age, like 4 hours sometimes is like, well, time to start the day, you know. Anyway, what's up with you, Fuzz? How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Glad to be here with you guys, and also running low on sleep. I think my
you stayed up all night last night, right?
Yeah. Podcasted this morning, went back, played some more. Wife requested some time, so yeah, wife time from like 6 until probably about 8 or 9 o'clock, and took kind of like a power nap. She was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I have to wake you up for your podcast." I was like, "Yeah, around 9:30 or so," and yeah, she woke me up a little bit early. I'm like, no. Went back to sleep, and I was like, "Oh crap! Wait, yeah, it's 9:40." Hurry up and get up here.
Yeah.
But man, I'm at least 12 to 14 hours of solid play. Outside of like pictures and whatnot. And
yeah,
man, this game, I didn't even think it was going to be this good. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. Where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back right now. Like, I don't have the setup right now. Let me play it in the background, unless you like looking at the side of my head kind of thing. But man, I'm glad to be here with you guys. But this is a damn good game. We got a lot to talk about.
Some think it's a 7 or less. You know, how could we'll get into a little bit of that, but I don't understand these days, man. It's crazy. Psycho, how you doing, bro?
I am doing fantastic, playing a little bit of Sea of Stars up to the launch of Starfield, and me and Pong stayed up till what, 4 last night? Well, I stayed up till 4.
Yeah, I was up until 4, but you got off about 3:30 or so. So
yeah.
Pause, but that's when you left, because your headset was dying. So
yeah, the headset was dying, so I was like, all right, let me before it cuts out. So yeah, enjoying the hell out of Starfield. Today I actually ran into some of these Eclipsons or some kind of faction.
Yeah, I stole one of their ships today.
Yeah, so they because I have one of my traits is wanted, so I'm in this bunker doing whatever, and then all of a sudden, as I'm leaving, here comes a bounty hunter, and he's looking to fight me. And so I was able to intimidate him because he wanted like 30,000 credits, and I was like, get the F out of here. And long story short, that pretty much my Ronin background kicked in, intimidated. He's like, all right, I'll do it for 1,000 credits. And then I was like, no, I think I'm just gonna kill you. So I ended up killing him and his two buddies. And then I saw his ship and I killed. That's what that picture was that I put in the DMs. And they all came out of the cockpit and I just threw a grenade and they all blew up and died. So and I
Nice.
just reveled over their bodies laughing. It was
Oh.
a beautiful moment.
Sounds,
But yeah,
sounds beautiful.
it's amazing. This game is such the things that you can do. I'm just like, dude, there's so much, and like I'm going everywhere on Mars because I was on Crete. I didn't go on to the other sections of Crete, but I was like, let me go out to let's go a little bit into the other planets. And man, I was just like, I've been between Mars and um what's the other New Atlantis. So that was like pretty much where I've been doing my entire playthrough so far.
Right on, bro. Thanks for being here as always, dude. And the man I'm surprised is here, to be honest with you. Pong Soul, what's up, dude?
Hey, nothing much. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday night. I don't even know what day it is anymore at this point. I'm on Star Dates now, I think, or something like that. Unbelievable. The best. Well, this has got to be the greatest 7 game of all time, easily. So, what, well, we're going to talk about it a lot, but obviously, again, I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to get up this morning and get the kid to football. So I was up at like 8 o'clock, thought about going back and playing. I'm like, nah, I got to make a show tonight. I'm like, there's no way in hell. So I went back to bed for a little bit, got up, and I've been taking care of a sick dog all day too in between, but I've been playing nonstop like Fuzzy. I've probably got 12, 14 hours in at this point, myself. This, as we talked about yesterday, Mav, these games only come along so often, and there's a reason why. This game has exceeded every single one of my expectations as far as hyped as I was, and for all the limitations that everybody's talking about. I'm still on Crete, and for anybody who doesn't know, that's basically the second planet you pretty much go to if you're just following the storyline once you get out of the mining shaft. I'm still there. I'm going to 100% that planet. I'm almost there now. But that's how much content. And I haven't run into a barrier, by the way, at all. This is just in the main area, the points of interest area.
The whole
that's how big it
thing
is.
Yes. Nothing burger.
It's still a thing if you really want to think about it, but at the end of the day, the way that this game plays, it's not at all. So far, I have zero reason to think that that's ever going to become an issue for me at all. But yeah, this game is absolutely incredible. I hope everybody that's joining in on the early access is enjoying the hell out of it. 230,000 concurrent streamers.
Yeah, that's at $100
that premium
a pop.
$100 a pop on PC.
It's also still a work day. It's not the weekend yet.
Yes. That shows you the power. Bethesda, that shows you the power of Todd. People want to say, oh, people are fake excited for this game. People are pretending to like this game. This game is everything and more. It really is. But we're going to talk about it. Thanks everybody in the chat for being here tonight. It's freaking absolutely incredible to see you all. And we got a lot to talk about, potentially game of the generation here, in my opinion. So let's go.
So last night, first I've got to apologize to anybody who's tried to stay tuned for the after PM and the PM stream last night. I was going to try and play Starfield on stream because I tried to get it going and I was having issues between OBS. And I was trying to do way too much. I was overloading my graphics card and it was causing OBS to crash. And I tried several different times. I had Starfield up on like everything maxed out, and I had like stuff running in OBS, and I had all this other stuff going, and it kept like just abruptly ending the stream because like the encoder would like get an error.
Crash.
Yeah, it would just crash. So thanks to everybody who did stick with it and was patient. Eventually, I just had given up and just decided to do an Xbox stream for a while. And at that point, I was just exhausted. And so I just signed off. And then I went back to playing on PC. One thing I got to say is, like, because I did play for, like, I guess a good hour and a half or so on Xbox Series X, which was, I'll say first off, that the 30 frames on the Series X is probably the smoothest 30 frames experience I've ever had in a game. That
It is.
the Series X was extremely good experience. But I did get this PC for Starfield. So after about an hour and a half and I winded down the stream, everything was shut down. I was just like, I'm going to go full in. And I started turning some of my settings back up to see what I could do. And I ended up being able to max everything out on Starfield without any problems. And I've been playing like that since last night for a few hours and today. And oh my God. It's like as good, as beautiful as it is on Series X and stuff. Like I feel completely justified and satisfied that I bought the PC, because there is a jump there that I feel like is definitely worth it for me personally. However, anybody that has a Series X, or also from what I hear, anybody that has a Series S, this is a great smooth experience with like hardly any issues or anything like that on both of those consoles. So this is an achievement, I think, for them to have a game this ambitious, be that smooth. And I think they should be applauded for that. Like I made a lot about the 30 frames thing, because I don't like 30 frames games. But I will say, if I didn't have my PC and this was the only way I could play the game, I would be content. I would have been content with how smooth that experience is at 30 frames. But same point, I'm glad I do. There was, I think the most significant changes is in the texture detail and some of the character details, especially like NPCs and stuff like that. Me and Pong were talking about that last night. I was streaming at Xbox. There was an alien. There's a lady that looked like an alien, just because she was missing some features and stuff in the face. But like, you load it in the on the PC with all the extra detail and stuff. And some of these NPCs and characters that sometimes are a little lackluster, or like really come to life.
They're different. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And then also the other thing, like, would be some of the like resolution scaling. It seems like they're doing for Xbox and stuff like that. But there's an amazing job, because you really have to kind of look for it. But overall, amazing performance across the board. Jasper is not so lucky because he has an Intel graphics card. Do you want to tell everybody what's going on with you, Jasper?
So if you have an Intel graphics card, the game just doesn't work at all, because Bethesda apparently didn't send Intel a copy of the game so they could get a driver ready for it. So you just start the game up and you wait 50 minutes for it to load. And then when it does load, you can hit start game, and then the game starts, and then it's just like spazzing out everywhere, and it crashes in 5 seconds. It's an amazing experience. Would recommend.
10 out of 10.
They said that I guess there's going to be Intel said there's going to be an update next week or something.
Yeah.
So
which kind of sucks, because like Monday's Labor Day, so I'm assuming they're probably not going to get it that day. Yeah.
But you've been playing on Xbox, right?
Yeah. So. I can tell it's 30 though.
You can definitely tell, like, going from the PC that, but like, it's still like, I still think it's a smooth experience compared to other 30 frames games I played. Shout out to Vic, the motherfucking Click, with $2 super chat, says, "What's up, Pong?" And back to the OG name.
Nice,
right
I love
on.
it, brother. I love it, man.
Shout out to Web Dave. Welcome to the channel membership, bro. Welcome to the Speculated, sir, and also welcome to Risk It for the Biscuits viewers. Anybody who is just watching Xbox Infinite podcast coming over here with Risk It there. So thank you guys, and that is an awesome show as well. So appreciate the raid, bro. So, man, Starfield. After I got it going, after the frustrations I had with my setup and trying to do way too much and stuff, it's such an amazing game, dude. Like, there was like, we were talking about this stuff last night, and we've all played this game differently. I kind of plowed through like multiple missions. I did deviate just now because I took a mission that was the distress call. The one you were talking about, Jasper, the Charlie guy.
Charlie.
Yeah, the Charlie guy. He was flagging you down. I had the conversation. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check this out. it ended up being a super long, multifaceted mission that has like all these different things you got to do on this planet. And now I got to admit, though, right now I'm stuck. This is where I left it before the show. I had to run out and do a couple errands real quick. But I took a mission, and there's like this space battle, and I teleported there or grab jumped there or whatever. And immediately there's like 4 ships just facing me, like right in front of me, and they're just blasting lasers and shit, everything at me. And it quick saved there or saved there. So I'm probably gonna have to go back and load my save because I never upgraded my ship or touched my ship at all yet. So they are just annihilating me. So I'm gonna have to probably load a save back or figure out if I can grab jump away from them before they take me
if you
out.
you can put all your energy into shields, engines, and grab jump, and you can grab jump out of there pretty quick and stay alive.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to do, bro. Because I'm gonna have to go, and my plan is to go find a planet and upgrade my ship, and then go back to them, and then fuck them up because they pissed me off. They've killed me like 10 times now. I think I felt like I could do it, but no, I can't do it. There's no way. But I plowed through quite a bit of stuff. There's a lot of like it's great gunplay, like. The planets are fun to just go explore and scan and search for things, like lots of hidden stuff, and a lot of the like camps or whatever you want to call them, space stations and stuff like that. You kind of stumble upon, like it's just amazing. And my favorite thing so far, I have to be honest, is the variety of guns.
Yes.
I found so many different damn guns. There's different levels and tiers of the different guns, and they all are different. But I'm rocking a double barrel shotgun in space right now. Just fucking them up, dude. Like, it is insane.
Is that the coach gun?
Yes, I got that.
Yeah.
And then I got I feel like Elmer Fudd in space, just walking around popping guys in the back. And then I got this other gun I just found as a legendary one. It's like has a long range scope on it. It has 2 lasers that blast and zoom in on them. I can't remember what it was called, but it's messing them up good too, man. The combat this is like we'll talk about this in phases, I guess, a little bit. Like
yeah, for sure. You gotta break it up.
Yeah, for combat, like this is way better than I could have ever anticipated a Bethesda game playing. Like this is next level for them. Like, and if you want to compare it to like a fast like Call of Duty or something like that, like, but like
this is an RPG.
Yes, like
so there's skill involved for sure.
There is
right?
for sure too. And some was made out about some of the AI and some of the reviews and stuff. Honestly, they're sneaking up on me. They're like, I'm playing at hard mode. They're trying to flank me. They're like running behind. Like if you go and you try and go and like take out a guy and you leave one that you almost had finished off and you like he runs off, they will run away to save their lives, right? So they'll run away
and they play angles. They play angles as well. They'll play corners. They'll do a lot. Like,
they'll
I'm pretty
jump
impressed.
through the fucking windows and stuff.
Yeah.
That are blown out to try and get to. Like I'm really actually impressed with the AI, to be honest with you. And
the turrets are no joke. By the way,
yeah,
if you're facing lock-on turrets, if you peek around a corner, it's firing. It's on. Like it's like crazy, man. It's really tough to get angles on those things for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, overall combat thoughts, guys. Like, at Fuzzy, have you had much combat yet?
Oh yeah, like ship combat for me is king, and then doing the boarding stuff is like next best. But the ground stuff is awesome as well because there are like these canisters or like fuel tanks at certain spots, and you hit that and you can take out a couple of guys. But yeah, the AI are on their own. They're on their game. I'm only playing it on normal because I want to kind of like be overpowered at the end kind of deal. But there were some battles where I don't know if it was the Charlie mission because I remember rescuing somebody off the planet. I don't think it was a Charlie mission, but I picked up somebody off the planet, went into space, and there were like 4 ships I was fighting, was able to kill them, and then killed the first 3, damaged the engines on the 4th one, boarded the ship, and it was kind of like a weird layout compared to my ship. So one side it looked like it was just like storage.
So is that the same mission I'm on right now? They're talking about. They said the Charlie mission.
The Charlie mission starts with you just jump to a system and a random guy in a spaceship comes up to you yelling, "Charlie, Charlie, Charlie 3, what are you doing?"
But then you go
Charlie
on
thing.
this planet and clear out. Is that part of what you're talking about, Fuzz? What you?
I remember having the guy calling me Charlie, but I don't think this is the one. But I picked up somebody off a planet. When we got into space, there were 4 ships.
Okay.
Shot down 3, damaged engines on the 4th one. Got on the ship. Had Sarah with me, and I gave her a decent laser gun. So it's close quarters. So we go into the one corridor. They're automatically shooting on sight kind of thing. I think I throw a grenade. They throw it back at me. She shoots it before it gets back to us with the laser. It blows up, and I guess there were canisters around the corner where they were. So it just like concuss them or just knocks them down. One guy's crawling around on all 4s. Yeah. I wind up shooting him in the back. Another guy is down, like moving sideways, and I hit him in the face with the hatchet. And it looked like the other guy wanted to run, and we wound up shooting him. Get to another like doorway. I guess this is where the cab is, and there's like 3 guys in there, and wound up throwing in a grenade. Now it didn't splatter them, so there's not like blood everywhere kind of thing, but you could tell that grenade did some damage where they're just laid out, and basically took that ship. That was the best like air combat or space combat and close quarter stuff. But I've had ones on the ground where it's like you're going through a base and just randomly, oh, there's another one like 600 meters down this way. Let me go to it. Mm-hmm. And they had some sort of like a radiation generator or something there. So go there, clear out the place. I'm already leveled up my jetpack to level 3 right now. So I'm just basically jumping and shooting at him. Vasco on that one, he was still shooting from a long distance, but he was at least hitting them and stuff. But at that point, it was just so much fun being on like a low gravity planet, throwing grenades, shooting explosive canisters that they just happen to, have at certain doorways and stuff like that. But man, it just the combat in general, anywhere you go. Haven't really killed like any of the wildlife or alien life stuff on the planets. Just been focusing on like the pirates and things along those lines. But yeah, those turrets, no joke. Take those out as soon as you can, or have Vasco do it if he doesn't already get downed or something like that. But also, if you find like minor robots or like industrial robots, make sure you change them over to your side so they protect you. Sometimes you can do that. You'll see like these little tubes where there's a computer panel. Open it up, make sure it protects the current user, and then you'll have like 3 Vascos around you, or at least however many of those canisters plus your Vasco, and they kind of clean up shop at that point. But I got to see if I can find a way to get the things that are like dogs with the turret on their back or something along those lines. I got to see if I can find something like that to bring with me. But man, just this game is so much fun right now.
Yeah. What about you, Jasper?
The combat's not as good as I thought it was going to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You're muted.
No, Jasper's always got to come through. With this take. Let's go, Jasper.
Have you played Fallout? Or
I have played Fallout. So
okay.
Fallout's like a 5. This is like a 6.5.
What?
It's not like
crazy for combat.
This is an RPG. You do realize that, sir.
That's why I said it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, God, so sad.
Okay.
Yeah, so like maybe it's just because I'm playing at fucking 30
Psycho?
frames and it feels like shit, but that's just where I'm at. And
we're playing at 30 frames, yeah.
Yeah, this is not Halo,
Wow.
Jasper, by the way.
So it never disappoints, dude.
I know,
like,
he doesn't.
But then he likes Crossfire X. It's fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
I know.
I said that. I said it was
Oh
all
my
right.
God.
I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Okay,
and this
Dan
is a
Stapleton.
half a point higher than.
Jesus Christ.
No, what you gotta do is find one of those rifles or one of the assault rifle or pistols with like radiation. Like I have one that's shooting radiation bullets now, and
Yeah,
once you pierce their face mask, it's done deal for them, instant kill.
Yeah, I've tried a bunch of different stuff. Like I had the laser rifle. I tried that. Like that one's all right. And then I tried one with the scope, and it just would like go everywhere. It's like so inaccurate. And then I've just been kind of sticking with the pistols because I feel like they're the best. Like I don't know, the shotguns. I hate the double barrel. I just can't.
Get good, Jasper. Get good.
Wow.
Okay.
Psycho, what about you?
I, on the other hand, I'm loving the combat. By the way, it's really. I've tried a bunch of different weapons. I've tried the Maelstrom, and then the other one that starts with the G. It's like the SMG.
At least someone's backing me up in chat. Appreciate it.
And so it's a modified with a carbon barrel or some shit.
Yeah.
And it has a nice scope on it, so it's like 4 times. And I'm hitting them. It does dance a little bit, but I'm still hitting them. Right on the, either if I'm aiming at their backpack, it's taking them out. Headshots if I'm close up. If I look at, if they peek over the railing when I'm walking upstairs, I shoot them in the face and they're like, I can't see. And then, I just run up and do like a melee hit and just finish them off. But it's good for a Bethesda game. It's amazing. Playing Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, this gunplay is for them is pretty damn amazing. And you can tell that ID was a huge inspiration with helping with their gunplay in this game.
They didn't help with the gunplay in this game. Just so you know.
They didn't?
Nope. They had nothing to do with it. Nope. They didn't get any help with their gunplay at all in this one. This was all
nice.
Yeah, this
well,
is all
then bravo
because they brought people in specifically for the combat, right? So they hired people to bring in for the combat that had expertise elsewhere.
Revamped everything with it, man. It's like
yeah.
I will say, like, for it was the reason you're so surprising, Jasper, for me, like, just because I have this like expectation kind of Bethesda games and like Fallout and these other games where for these massive, huge RPGs. I mean, you can even go back to like Mass Effect and stuff like that too. Like, for BioWare, like these massive RPGs and stuff. Cyberpunk as well, right? Like, you have a certain level of expectations of what's really kind of possible, like with the ambition and scope of what they're doing. And I would say, out of every other aspect in this game so far, like as far as my expectation versus like what I'm experiencing, nothing has surpassed my expectations more than the gunplay and combat based on what I was expecting from Bethesda and from
I just don't feel like it's that big of a step up from Fallout though.
Oh my god. What? Really?
Like I don't like.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. Enough. I mean, again, it's an opinion. It is what it is. We'll just call you Stapleton from here on out.
Fair enough.
Fire up
Jesus.
Fallout 4 again and see how you feel on that one.
It's funny. Don't use VATS.
So what about you, Pong, with the combat overall?
Overall, I'll make this compare. I've seen other people throw this out there, and I think it's very accurate. And I just played this game a couple months ago, and if there was one really good part about Andromeda, it was the combat. And I would say this is in line with Andromeda. As far as if we're going to compare RPG combat to RPG combat, I would put this on par with Andromeda. And like I said, I'm not talking about the rest of the game. I'm talking about, the combat and the gunplay here. This is a huge step up, in my opinion, from what they've done previously. Again, guns aren't supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
Your shooting isn't supposed to be perfect. That's why you level up. That's why you get better weapons. But yeah, Mav, you were talking about the variety of weapons and already the different ones that I'm finding. And pro tip here, if you guys haven't taken a good look, you can find 2 guns that say, I'll use Grendel, okay, which is the SMG that most
Grendel.
everybody finds out the gate. It's really great. It's a great weapon. But you can find modified Grendels.
Yeah.
And they can be white. Okay. I'm not talking about the rares. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. Just white modified Grendels. Make sure you're paying attention to those different Grendels or any weapon that you find like that, because they can be vastly different from each other. Right. So I found one and I didn't even realize it because I hadn't been. I was like, oh, modified Grendels are all going to be the same because they all just were lining up in my inventory. And I was like, okay. So I wasn't really paying attention. Then I started really looking at the stats as I was going through, and I was like, wait a minute, that changed dramatically. Sure enough, I had found a semi-automatic Grendel that did like 3 times the damage of a normal one. And I was like, oh, okay, let's try this out. And sure enough, as a semi-automatic, totally different type of gun. So yeah, the combat here, again, and I saw Steel in the chat too, and he's not wrong when we talk about the AI. Playing on hard, the AI is very, very good. He said it was hit or miss. Sure, there are still times where they're dumb as hell, of course. Yeah, absolutely, of course. But for the most part, again, using cover, taking angles, like Mav said, flanking you, that's all in play here. Melee based AI waiting for you to get within range before they show themselves. I've had that happen a couple of times. I've had a couple sneak up on me from behind and all of a sudden I'm getting hit with a fire axe. So there's a lot of goodness here. And again, I'm not comparing this to shooters, right? I'm not comparing this to pure shooters. I'm comparing this to other RPG games like this, open world RPGs. And I got to say the AI has taken a step up in the combat as well. But
where would you put the combat compared to Cyberpunk? Because that's another futuristic, like big open world RPG, right?
That's
you
another
have a
one.
lot of experience with it, right?
300 plus hours in that game. That's a good question, Mav. I didn't even think of Cyberpunk in here. I'd probably put Cyberpunk is more forgiving. I'll put it there. Let's put it that way. Cyberpunk is more forgiving with the weapons. The weapons don't feel so RPG-ish, as in, hey, I'm low level. I'm not going to actually really be great with these weapons yet.
Felt
Or this
pretty
is a low
OP early on.
Yeah, it felt nice to see you, 3-bit. It's I recognize your voice right away. So yeah, no, I would say that the gun play in Cyberpunk is much more accurate out the gate than this one is. But I think that impactful wise, like as far as how the guns feel, I would put it on par with Cyberpunk for sure. I think each gun feels vastly different from another one. Even in the pistols, because I'm pistol heavy right now because I'm a space scoundrel. So I already had a level. The difference between the laser pistols and your ballistic pistols, completely different feel when you're firing them and how they hit things range wise. You can tell the range difference on the weapons immediately. It's not just a number in there. So yeah, no, I just think overall that the combat itself is not just serviceable here. It is on a good to great level for this type of game. And so that's hats off to Bethesda. Like I said, that's why I wanted to make sure when Psycho brought it up, not to, actually Psychonauts. I wasn't being Jasper. I was just wanted to mention it because a lot of people thought that when they heard that id was helping them, that was the focus, but they came out, in different interviews and said, no, that wasn't what I think id actually came over to help with frame rate and engine work. They didn't work on the combat. That was their own internal team that went back and refined. And again, they brought in a lot of outside help to work on that. You can tell, and you can tell the attention to detail, the loving manner of which they've handled making sure the guns are unique. When you go in and look at the guns, especially any of the modified ones, man, they all got their own little look to them and that kind of stuff. Really love to see that. So yeah, audio wise too for combat. Again, I shouted out the audio team today in a post because the audio in this game overall is amazing. But in combat, hearing their footsteps, I turned down my own footsteps and turned up the enemy footsteps, and it makes a difference. You can directionally hear where they're coming from, not only through their voice, but through their footsteps. That makes a big difference in combat as well. But the ricochets, I mean, all the different sounds that happen in the middle of a gunfight, like it's crystal clear, and it's absolutely an incredible job. So yeah, no, I love the combat here. It really, really well done.
Right on. We got a couple super chats to get to real quick. Chris Jones with the $5 making fun of me for dying over and over again in my space combat. Says Han Solo wouldn't die like that, Mav. He'd definitely escape without loading a save. LOL, channel your inner Han. Yeah, I'm going to try and grab jump the hell out of there. I got to upgrade my ship to take these guys on. So that's what I'm going to try and do after the show tonight. Alvin with the $2 super chat says, actually, Jasper, not COD, IGN out of 10. JK. Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving Jasper a hard time because he always has his like just a different opinion sometimes on something that we all seem to like.
He's contrarian.
And that's
contrarian.
And that's fine. And that's fine.
Yep.
3-bit. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to be here.
So we're kind of going like on like individual aspects of the game. So first thing I want to talk about, because for me it was like the one of the biggest surprise it was the combat. So
Yeah.
how are you feeling about the combat so far? Fuzzy loves it, Psycho loves it, Pong loves it, I love it. Jasper's like
Hates it.
Yeah. No, he said he gave it a
I like
6.
how you all add words to my mouth.
He gave it
there.
a 6.5. He gave the combat a 6.5. But how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the combat in Starfield?
I feel like it's one of the best that Bethesda has made in terms of like shooting mechanics. Of course, they've really polished the shooting here. I feel like in third person it can get a little weird when you're in corridors and stuff. I like to switch
It would be
between
nice to
them.
switch your shoulder, right?
Yeah. I definitely play in both. I constantly switch. I like to see my character constantly, like when I'm first like land on a planet and I'm just like taking the vistas in and everything, and sometimes I even fight in third person. It really depends on where I'm at. I feel like it's a little bit harder to fight in third person when you're inside of a corridor. So I usually will switch. If I'm like in a tighter corridor, I probably switch to like first person. If I'm like outside, then I like third person because I just like the way it feels. Both of them feel great, by the way. It's just, I think it's just with the third person shooting, when you're just in certain things, the camera can get stuck on certain things and etc. But
did you notice
I feel like
3-bit? Did you notice in third person too? And this is for anybody here too.
Yeah.
I think Colt brought it up in his review. The reticle and where the shot is actually first going to is not necessarily spot on. I will say
it takes some time.
Yeah, there's like
used to.
it's a little off from where you think you're going to shoot in third person. That could be tightened up a little bit. That's the one thing I have noticed. But
I just started noticing that. When I was playing in third person, but it's like slightly off. But as you play in third person, you kind of get used to it. It's weird.
Draw your
if you
reticle
constantly
one way or the other a little bit more.
Yeah.
just to make sure. Yeah.
And in terms of the shooting mechanics, I think they did a great job. The pistol, like, to me, feels fantastic. Like that's like I've experimented with a lot of different guns. And for some reason the pistol feels the best to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe is that just me? I don't know. It feels really good.
Pistols are really good.
It just feels like a solid, like it feels like I'm playing like a I don't know, like just a solid shooter whenever I have the pistol on. In terms of like the exploration, I don't know how much we're diving into that,
We're
but
just doing combat for right now.
this combat, okay.
Yeah, we're breaking it up a little bit.
Okay, cool. I probably don't have as much guns as you guys have. I have a couple of the rifles that I found. Of course, the laser you start with. I did find some legendary pistol like randomly, so that was pretty cool. I found it in a abandoned space station. I was just flying around. I was just something off the cuff of a mission. It was just like an abandoned space station in the middle of nowhere. And went in there, everybody was dead. And there was like a legendary pistol inside of this like chest thing, and I was like, well, this is sick. And so I've been using that. But yeah, combat feels great. I think Bethesda really nailed it. I feel like that year if you guys look
That
at
may have been one of the most improved things over the last year, right?
I feel it had to be that year, because when you see the footage of before they took that year break to now, they had some gameplay footage, but I feel like that year added a lot. I can't even imagine what the game would feel like post that year, um, that year development cycle, because even when we were watching it, when we've seen the dev direct, we're like, wow, this looks improved. Like the gameplay actually looks solid and the animations look crisp. And when they had interviews with Todd, that he was basically saying like, yeah, and everyone assumed it was id Tech like helping with the animation, but no, they were helping with optimization and some other stuff. So no, it was just Bethesda team that just really they had some extra time, so they're like, hey, let's polish up the animations for the guns and make it feel pretty good. I like getting I think someone mentioned this, I heard it a little bit, where you can get an angle on people.
Yes.
Because I got into a couple combat scenarios. I was getting destroyed, by the way. I was playing on,
you playing on hard,
very hard.
Oh,
very hard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because I just heard it was pretty easy, so I was like, okay, I'll try it. I was getting destroyed. I actually had to bump that down, because they were definitely killing me. But what I like about these games, Bethesda games, is usually like the AI. It can get pretty smart. Like you have to take into account that they have to take many different paths, because you're fighting in like zero gravity. Like I just had this epic battle in zero gravity. They are above you, they're below you, they have to go around corners, they have to go down steps. So from a development side, that's pretty hard to do, development wise. Like you're taking into account of where the player is and yeah, etc. But I like essentially kind of itching around corners and pistoling and kind of being smart about combat rather than just sort of diving in. I did choose Ronin. I feel like I need to start building up that build a little bit, because I'm kind of getting destroyed when I'm running up to somebody and trying to like sword them. Because in my head I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for a sword build, but these people are like sniping me before I get the chance to to actually sort them. So eventually, and I think Psycho also chose the Ronin. So eventually I'm gonna build out my thing to suit that more, maybe like deal more health. But that's what I like about Starfield. You can like kind of experiment and figure out what works for you. And if you want to do all sort, like, hey, I'm gonna put more of my tree and health and things like that, so I can support how I like to play with a skill tree. So yeah, sick. I love it.
Nice, dude. Yeah, it's fucking fun as hell. I also like, I don't really get the whole slow start thing.
Me either.
Maybe because that's how I played the game, because I just went straight into the missions and went one into the other. I feel like it's up to you at the pace that you go. Right.
I was thinking it was slow because I played before like a week or so ago. I was kind of rushing, to be honest, because I was playing through these circumstances, right? I didn't I'm not going to talk about it, but basically I was playing. I had like 30 minutes or so to play, and the beginning of the story was feeling slow, but this second time I played it, it didn't feel slow at all. Just because once you like leave the space station, like Pong, for example, he didn't even jump on the ship. Yeah. You don't have to do.
How long did you spend on the first planet, Pong? Was it like
2-3 hours on the first planet, just exploring
and see, for me, I just finished the mission. I just walked my ass out, talked to the guy, and got on the ship. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, on to the next one, right? And that's kind of how I did it. But I changed my mentality how I was going to play this game, because I want to kind of plow through the main story. This other side mission is the first thing that I've done that hasn't been part of that. I haven't messed with the ships yet. There's so many different damn things I haven't done yet.
For me, for me, being able to talk to different people and just kind of exploring the different cities is fast paced to me, because I'm kind of like, whoa, look at all this stuff I can do like right away. Like I can follow the main story because people are saying like, hey, you should follow the main story. But like to me, like it's not slow because you could kind of do what you want. Like I don't
The
get,
only thing I
you
could
make
like
your own kind of
get out of the
pacing.
slow start thing is maybe if like there's some kind of like quick pace increase like later on that we haven't got to yet, and then like once you get to that, then the beginning would feel slow. But since we haven't experienced that right now, we don't feel that. Like I don't know if maybe that's just where the
Maybe.
reviewers are coming
Yeah,
from.
Yeah.
right now I'm not feeling it. Like personally, I'm not feeling.
Yeah, that
it
was more
at
of
all.
a, the reason I'm bringing that up is because that was a universal tone in a lot of the reviews and stuff, which
Yeah,
is like
and
even,
I felt like
even
that
the people
too,
that
but-
gave it like a 9.5 or a 9 or 10s and stuff. Some of them was like, hey, it has a slower start and it picks up. A lot of people's opinions I trust and stuff too. It's like, for me, I just didn't experience it. You start right away, you get into like some combat stuff right away, and then you go and you can, if you want the faster pace, you can go right on. You just go into accept your first mission, you go, and literally the next place you go, you're in combat again, and then you're kind of like it. So for me, that wasn't my experience, but I guess depending on how you play the game, like if you're Pong Soul and walk 3 hours on a planet scanning rocks and opening chests, somebody could say it's a slower start, but that's a choice thing that you did, but
Yeah.
that wasn't slow to you because that's
Nope.
what you're choosing to do.
Yep.
Right. So it's weird for me to think about the pacing in a game.
'Cause you
where-
make your own
where
pace,
you
right?
set your own pace, right?
Yeah.
If you want fast paced action, you can go for and look and hunt ship battles down. You can hunt abandoned space camps and stuff like that to go for, or you can just plow through the main story as well. So a lot of different ways to think about this game, and that's the beauty of it though, right? Like every single one of our experiences is completely different in this game right now. None of it, like I don't know how many, I mean besides the first probably 2 main story missions or whatever, I don't know how many of us has done any of the same stuff, right? Like
Right.
how many of us have touched a ship, like in the ship building?
Oh,
I-
shipbuilding?
I've
Oh,
put
shipping.
I put 2 additional cargo pods on my ship and an engine. That's all I've done with my ship.
Oh, I haven't even touched it. I don't even know.
I added a grav jump, a better grav jump, better engine, lasers, but I have not put a bigger cargo. I need to put a bigger cargo bay on mine, but that's about it.
I've on my main or the first ship, I've upgraded everything like by like 10%. Like whatever they give you is like 1000 series or 2000 series. I have 2010 or 3030 series for like the engines and all that. So it looks the same, but I have 40 extra hull, and I had like 4 or 5 extra dashes to add to like the different systems and things, and more cargo space. Still the same crew listing of 2, but it's more roomy. It doesn't look more roomy, but it has more available space.
Yeah, I stole a big ship and then I just started upgrading that one because I got rid of the Frontier. I didn't get rid of it. It's just in my.
Where did
It's in
you
the.
where did you find your
Mhm.
ship that you stole?
I was just on some random planet and there was a big ship and I was like, I want that. I went in the ship, killed the guy, took the ship, and it's mine.
And it was better. Like, is it better?
Yeah, it has longer range. It has 4 crew slots. It has like the only thing it was kind of weaker on was cargo, and then that's why I added the 2 cargos.
Right.
And then since I added that, it removed some of the maneuverability in space. So I added an engine to make up for that.
Okay, so I got a question for you guys. Any tips for me for space combat? Like, what do you have your stuff set to? Is it more important for maneuverability for me to be able to fly better, or is it better to put everything in the guns and the shields?
Slow down.
For me, it's shields and stuff. Like that's
Slow
how
down because you get better turning.
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
But then
Because if you're
I'm
constantly
facing
speeding,
4
then-
guys, I'm also kind of a sitting duck, right? I can only face one ship at a time.
But you gotta
Yeah,
get
but
behind 'em.
it depends. Like for that, when I had 4 ships attack me, now I went with bounty hunter, so you automatically get more maneuverability. You get the booster pack thing, and then you get like the targeting system. So for me, whichever one is closest is getting lit up as best I can, and then the ones that are coming up behind you, like after you've either damaged that other one or done enough damage, basically do almost like imagine you're in Top Gun, just turn the engines completely off, spin it around. If you can lock on them, well, before you even lock on them, just hit them with lasers and ballistics if you can. And then as soon as you get locked, send a couple of missiles their way, and that should do enough damage to make them think twice about, trying to do kamikaze head on or play chicken with you in space kind of thing.
And this part I'm at, I mean, I'm literally, it's just like bam, right there, and then there's three ships right in front of me, right? And they're just immediately blasting lasers just directly at me. And I got to fly towards them, right? So I can only hit one at first, you know what I mean? I can take them like down maybe like halfway before they approach me. And then I have to try and turn around to finish him off. By that time, I'm getting shot by the other two from behind.
Yeah, I
you know what
couldn't
I mean?
give you any tips on that because the only thing I've done is I did the tutorial ship fight, and then I did one additional ship fight where I jumped into a planet's like orbit, and there was like 4 UC ships attacking 2 other pirate ships, and I was just assistance. So like,
I went to a planet, and I was like, oh yeah, can I communicate with them and stuff? So I went closer to a ship. There was a bunch of security guards and stuff, but I was just curious. And then I clicked on it, and then I was asking about like his day, and then I was like, I'm gonna steal your ship. And then he's like, no, you're not. And then he was like, are you sure you want to do this? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And I immediately got obliterated. Like there was, because it wasn't just him attacking me. It was like it was around the space station. So when you first go on a planet, they check your ship for cargo, which I do want to contraband. Which I do want to ask. Did anyone have any contraband?
Not yet. I haven't started my drug empire yet.
I had a contraband thing, but it didn't go well. I had to redo my save. Like I picked up something on some random planet, like some basically alien guts or whatever. I didn't think anything of it, and I was like, "Oh crap! Wait, before I do this mission, let me make sure I save because they were scanning, and I tried to evade the scan. So they sent, I think it was the Freestar Collective. Run? I outran the scan, and they immediately call you a criminal, and they sent 4 free FC ships or whatever. Freestar Collective ships after me. I took down 3 of them, and then there was like another 4, and while I'm trying to attack the other one, I'm like, this isn't going well. I had to repair my ship a lot. Like I think the big reason why my ship is able to hang in there is because I did the whole pilot training thing and made it to level 6 for the UC or whatever, when you join the Space Marines or whatever. So they give you an extra bonus, and it helps you bump up some of the skills for like maneuverability and things. I put more damage on the lasers than the ballistics, and try to max out the missiles, because the missiles, usually 2 missiles will destroy most ships, at least for me right now. But yeah, that don't try to outrun them. I mean, unless you're going to grab jump, and I was like, I'm not grab jumping out of here. I'm just going to, because I figured I could take them, one by one, but it's like they keep spawning them. It's
they destroy you. Absolutely destroy.
The only contraband that I found was like a mech repair kit or something like that, and then it was on a ship that I stole, and then I landed back on the planet because the ship took me into outer space, and I didn't want to go there. So I landed up because I was stealing it, and they took off while I was like boarding the ship and fighting. And I found the contraband on their ship, and I landed back to where they took off from, and then I sold it on the planet, so I didn't have to deal with like trying to sneak it in. The only other kind of like contraband thing is I stole a pirate ship, and I was going to go to like New Atlantis and register or sell the ship or whatever. And then as soon as I got there, the UC were like, they essentially arrested me and were like, you can either go to jail or you can be recruited to be an undercover spy and be a pirate undercover and get intel on them. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Right on.
Freaking sorry, Psycho. Just real quick, I think there was an interesting comment about the slow factor from somebody in the chat. Southmole, shout out to you. Said, I'm enjoying the game, but the mechanics can be a bit clunky and they aren't explained too well. I think that's why I'm finding the intro a bit slow. And I could see that for somebody who is, because they don't handhold you here, right? I'm, again, as somebody who's played it in South Mall. I don't know how many Bethesda titles you played or how much time you put into them. For somebody who has played a ton of Bethesda RPGs, I really haven't had a problem, even with the hand holding. Has there been times when I was like, how do I do this? And I figured it out within a matter of minutes. So maybe it's just my experience, but I definitely could see where
the controls are a little clunky.
Yeah, the controls could be a little bit clunky to somebody. Absolutely. I just thought it was a great comment because I could see how some of the reviewers, some of the people are finding that a problem.
The inventory management mixed with the weapons and stuff. Yeah.
Why can't I take Vasco's inventory and put it in the ship directly? Why do I have to transfer it directly to me and then transfer it in the ship?
Is the ship
how much? I think you might be able to do transfer from Vasco. But the only way you can do it is if you're.
I would like to know if anybody's figured that out, because I can't.
I haven't figured it out. I mean,
you know what it is? It's when you go to sell it.
Okay,
because there'll be a thing at the bottom for the ship inventory, Vasco's inventory.
But it's only the companion you have selected.
Like, right? Yeah, if Vasco's your companion.
I just want to be able to transfer Vasco's stuff directly to my ship without transferring my stuff and then going to Vasco and then transferring it to me and then going to the ship and transferring to the ship. So that stuff is a little bit
because I had Sarah and Vasco and I had stuff in both of them, but since Sarah was following me, I couldn't go into Vasco's inventory and sell stuff.
Oh, really?
So I had to go back to him, grab all the shit out of him, and then
little quality of life stuff like that. For sure.
So I got another question. Your ship repair stuff, right?
Yes.
Can you use it from cargo, or does it need to be on your person?
You can use it from cargo.
From cargo.
Is that where you should use it from?
Because, I put all my resources in there because it takes up so much weight.
Yeah, because those weigh 10 damn pounds a piece.
No. Those went directly into my cargo immediately. Okay. I was like, yo, what is going on?
Why am I so heavy? I have it on me to be able to use it, right?
No, because it's just from the menu screen. You can repair directly from the menu screen your ship. So it's if it's in cargo or on you, you can use them.
Right on. All right, that's good to know. So the combat, that's one aspect, right? What about exploration, right? 3-Bit wanted to talk about that. So how about we start with you, 3-Bit? Exploration aspect of Starfield so far. Do you feel limited at all?
Like in exploration, you mean like quests, things I found, just like kind of all that?
Just like this is an open galaxy game, really. I mean, like, what are you like? How are you finding the travel to different places and like enough stuff to find and worth exploring the planets and stuff like that?
Yeah,
that was a big concern people had originally. Remember?
The way I like to explore, maybe this will answer the question, is when I'm like walking through different planets and I'm hearing NPCs kind of talk to each other. I'm kind of like hearing their conversation and I'm like, okay, let me hear what's going on here. And then before you know it, that ends up being like a big crazy mission that I spiral into different branches and stuff. That's what I really enjoyed about Skyrim, where I would kind of not really do a main mission quest, just kind of to see what's going on in the world. Something kind of happens and I'm starting to do that one thing, but that branches into like 5 other things. Before you know it, I'm like, what was I doing again? That actually happened to me before I got on here. There was a mission I was doing with Sarah. I'm not going to spoil the story, but essentially I was doing a mission with her and I seen this abandoned sort of space station. I went inside. It was the first time I saw zero gravity in like a space. It was really cool. I really like that stuff. You were able to like kind of fly around and shoot people and and in terms of like just finding stuff like that it's not necessarily a part of the main mission. Like you just are kind of just finding things on the side. That's my favorite thing about Starfield. That was what I was looking forward to when even hearing that Starfield was a thing. I'm like, okay, I want to be able to, yes, the main mission is cool. I'm probably going to definitely finish that soon, the way I play. But I want to be able to just kind of do a side mission and or just kind of do what I want and see where that takes me. So yeah, I mean, Very cool. No, it was not the casino one, but I did see that one too. This was like some other. I was just kind of venturing off away. I was just flying into deep space, and I just happened to find this one ship thing. But yeah, I mean, exploration for me is there. I've seen a couple people kind of complain about it. They're like no, you have to do the main mission. You have to stick with the main mission if you want to get what you want. And for me, I don't feel that yet. Maybe I will later. Maybe there's certain things I don't understand yet about why people keep saying that, but I'm kind of just doing what I want. So in terms of like when people are complaining about like exploration and stuff, I mean, exploration to me is different probably to other people. Like exploration to me is just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do this side mission. Oh, screw the side mission. I see an interesting thing in the corner. What is that? It's a coffee shop. Oh, okay. Before you know it, there's a guy in a coffee shop talking about art pieces. Like, oh, hey, I sell art pieces. Do you want to do this art piece mission? And I'm like, no, I want to go over there. That to me is exploration. So that's probably different to me than other people. I don't know if I answered your question, but
yeah, that's good. What about? I'm almost free to ask. What about you, Jasper?
So I'll start with like the last main mission I did. The last main mission I did was I picked up Sarah at New Atlantis, and that's the last like main campaign story thing that I've done. Other than that, like I haven't even touched the story stuff. I've just been going off on random planets, and I'm getting interrupted in my exploration by people coming up saying, "Hey, you want to do a job or let's do this?" It's like,
that too. Yeah.
But today I spent 2 hours just looking up at the fucking stars on Mars, picking out constellations. Like, oh, that's actually what the sky would look like. So I was like mapping out the fucking stars on Mars. I was like, wow, they actually got a real fucking like skybox. I've been going to planets that I actually know about, that we know about in real life, and just seeing how they compare in different systems like that.
So you're playing it more as like a space nut, right?
Yeah. So it's like kind of a unique experience because I even landed on Earth, and I landed in the day side. I looked up at the stars. I was like, okay, so that's the Scorpio constellation. So I can't see Orion. So I had to go to the other side of Earth where it was nighttime and then look up in the opposite side of the sky so I could see the Orion constellation. And I picked out like the Pleiades and all that shit. Like I was just looking at fucking shit that we can like see now and like comparing it with the game. I'm complaining it's like completely different than anyone else is playing it right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though, man. No wonder you think the combat sucks. No, I mean that's
you're doing flight sim or space sim in like a flight sim kind of way.
Yeah, no, that's cool though, man. What about you, Psycho? You, I know you spent also because I was playing. And you had started before me because I was having those issues. And then I was like, "Were you doing Psycho?" You're like, "I'm on blah blah blah." I was like, "I did that like hours ago. Why are you still there?" So I know you kind of pulled the Pong and stayed like on the first planet for like, or that second planet for forever.
Yeah,
you're
so
100%ing scanning and stuff, right? That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I got everything completed except for there was like one more thing. But it's biome complete. So I have to go to the other section of Crete to 100% it. I just finished Mars here a moment ago. So Mars is complete. But I was just spending like, oh God, I think 4 hours, almost 5 hours yesterday on just Crete. And just find each time I go in a direction, I'm like, oh, something unknown. Let me go do that. And then something else pops up. And then something else pops up. And before you know it, I'm like, I look back and I'm like 12,000 meters away. I'm like, oh fuck. And I figured out if you do your scanning, if you look at your ship or a location that you already explored, you can fast travel to it.
Yeah, you can use your map to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm still learning all the mechanics. Like to that other guy's comment, sorry to cut you off, Buff, that you just made me think about like the mechanics of like trying to figure out some of that stuff. Like like going around and fast traveling and going through your menus and stuff is, to me, it's still confusing. Like I'm still like learning it.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
sometimes
getting
I
a
like
grasp.
hit go to the map button. It's like, this is only the surface map. I was like, no, I want to go to the galactic map. It's like, no, this is the planet map. And I was like, God, how many times I got to fucking back out of this to get to the map I want to? It's like,
Yeah, I feel like eventually it's gonna click for me, but I still feel like wait, do I go here to go to this map? But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Psycho.
Oh no. So like there was one instance yesterday when I was on Crete. I don't know if Pong came across it, but I came across like 6 combat robots. And
no, somebody else was talking about this too on X as well. That they came across combat robots.
I saw that in a trailer before.
Yeah, I faced a couple robots inside one of the different pirate, not the main pirate hideout that you're there for, but a different, because I got hired by a bounty hunter to help him go clear out this other pirate place. And I faced some robots in there, but no, I have not faced these killer robots.
You fought robots in there?
Yeah.
Okay, because I went in there and they told me to kill a captain.
Yeah.
And then like I had a bug where like the captain was locked behind an expert door and he couldn't get out, but he was shooting me through the door. So then I left the base and then came back and then he teleported outside the door and I could finally kill him.
Huh. Yeah, no, I didn't have any expert doors or anything in that base.
Wow.
I mean, I had one door that was locked because I needed a power cell, which were easy to find, but outside of that, no. Yeah. So those experiences are different too, because I've not seen these killer robots. I faced the albino Terra, whatever his name is, but that's it. Terramorph. Thank you. Yeah,
I bet. I don't even know what y'all are talking about right now.
Yeah, it's a mean motherfucker. That's who it is. I cheesed it though. I was telling Pong.
What planet was that on?
The one right after the mining.
Second.
I don't even remember Crete. I was there for like 5 minutes, I feel like.
Oh, dude. Yeah. If you go on an adventure. So Crete is, I think, where these combat robots, out to double check, but I think it was like when I got off the ship, I went the opposite. It was past the main Crimson Fleet base. You go past it a little bit to the east, is just all of a sudden you'll just see like this power like station.
Okay.
And there's like 6 of them. They're not
Was
very,
it like
are they
about the windmills?
No.
Are they blue?
No, not blue. They're
because inside the base you could actually control the robots. You could turn them to your side, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I did that as well.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. You could reprogram them. So
okay.
Yeah, just to give chat, I'm gonna let you continue your cycle. Just real quick, chat, because we're on exploration here. Again, I've been on Crete for probably 5 to 7 hours now, and I still haven't come across these robots. So, and I'm in the main area where you land. That's how big a mass land this is, because I've been going everywhere. I've been clearing out everything that I've been able to come across. So that gives you an example of why these barrier, discussions, while you can go, and you can kind of think about it, it's nothing. It's nothing to me at this point, because that's, again, gives you kind of a clear indication what the scope is of the area that you're exploring. It's ridiculous.
It's massive. It's just so massive. And but see, Vasco, that son of a bitch, he decides, hey, there's robots. I feel like I'm on a murderous rampage, and decides to open fire. And then so these 6 start shooting at Vasco and me, and then all of a sudden I see these robot dogs with cannons on their back shooting off in the distance. I'm like, what are those? And then they come chasing after me, and I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Sorry, Vasco, you're dead. But as like Pong said, I
don't know where Vasco is. He's
far enough, and he popped up, and he's like, hello, what should we do? I'm like, stop shooting people. That's what we should do. Stop.
You gotta leave them at your ship.
Vasco is very trigger happy. I've noticed that.
They were not being, they did say one of their lines was like, please stand still for the murderous rage. And but they didn't attack me. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I won't shoot you. And then for some reason, Vasco's like, there, he heard that and was like, oh, you're gonna kill the captain. Bah, bah, bah. And then there was this murderous rage.
Yeah.
And all
Every time I tried to stealth, Vasco was like, no,
Yeah.
you're not stealthing
But
today.
yeah, they said like
So.
Bethesda. They said that like if you want to go stealth, leave your companions
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, it's classic Bethesda games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
But
what
that-
about? Yeah, go ahead.
And
Although
this-
Co
and that's
seems
just
to be
creep.
okay. I forget his first name, but Co seems to be okay for stealth so far.
Oh yeah.
Sam
Okay.
Sam Co. Okay.
Yeah, Sam Co. Yeah.
I'm
yet.
on a mission with him. I can't wait for Pong and to experience New Atlantis and stuff. Like that city is incredible.
So one
I
thing,
just went there to get the missions out of the way and then left that. I wanted to get to some fucking like alien planet or
so
something.
I'm supposed to be going to
Crazy.
for a main mission. I'm supposed to be going to Freestar, but I can't go there yet because I have to clear out stuff on the way there. Right. So that's
Yeah.
when I got sidetracked by this side mission, and then I've been doing that for hours now because it's like a branching mission. Like it's a huge base on this planet that you just first you got to go save these people. Oh, now they tell you about these other people you got to go save. So then you go and save those people. Oh, lo and behold, they tell you about somebody else that you got to go save. So then you got to go save those people. Oh, lo and behold, now you got to go in space and kill the people in space because if you don't, they're going to come and kill everybody on the planet.
If the quest is not on the planet, I'm not doing it. Like,
So- But all this stuff, I found so much cool shit. And I got to say, just for a side quest from some random thing that just popped up, which it's had so much awesome dialogue and story here. Like, it feels like a main story, like of a game, right? Just this one thing that I've been playing for hours. Like, you could have this as like a smaller game, just this one side mission that I've been playing, and I would be like, wow, that was really good. You know what I mean? But instead, it's just like one random fucking thing that I came across. And like, if you look at the objective list of like the things that are all part
It's
of this,
getting
when you go with
large.
your mission, yeah,
getting
like,
big.
well, just in this one quest, it's like, I think it's called like Ground Pounders or some shit like that. I can't remember what it's called. But like, if you click on it now where I'm at, the list is like 10 different things that I've done just for this side mission. And it's pretty crazy. I've even had to go back into orbit and land at a different place on the same planet and stuff like that. And meanwhile, it's like, oh, I'm going to scan stuff on the way to walk over there. So I just start scanning shit. Those giant spiders shooting stuff at me, and there's jellyfish floating in the sky. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. You get
Whoa,
lost.
really?
Oh, yeah, there's
Mhm.
jellyfish flying in the sky, and you're like, wow, those are peaceful. Those are pretty. You scan them, you scan the giant spiders, you scan the other things, which they say.
They're all EXP. You kill them
Yep.
all.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
Well, then there's other bugs that are just wary. It says, temperament. It says these ones are wary, right? You get too close to them, all of a sudden, they aren't as wary anymore. They're aggressive, right? So then they start popping up everywhere and start coming after your ass. And like, I gotta say, also like the alien life, is really interesting with the different temperaments because you don't know what you're coming across, right? Like, it does give you that sense of like, I'm on this planet, and as I would think if I was going to be in that situation in real life, like I don't know what I have to be worried about and when I don't, So you scan and you see the temperaments, like how close can I get to this thing? I need to scan it, but do I get aggressive? How powerful is it, right?
well, if it attacks you, just kill it.
Well,
Now, have you seen the alien life fight each other yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an
Yeah.
ecosystem there, right? So the other aspect to that is like the environment of the that you're in. So like different animals or creatures or whatever they are can cause different afflictions to you, right? The same place I was before earlier in the game, all of a sudden it was nighttime, and I guess on this planet, nighttime is super cold, and my spacesuit wasn't good enough for it. So I started hearing this beep after I got this warning about ultra cold, and I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And it got
I
a
was
beep,
like,
and I was
ignore
like,
that.
"Do-do-do-do-do."
Ignore that.
It starts getting faster, so I'm like, "Oh fuck, I gotta make a beeline for the ship." So I start sprinting, and then right before I got to the ship, it says I got hypothermia, right? So then I started looking at how do I cure my hypothermia? Oh shit! I like see what I got, and all I have is snake oil.
You got to start a fire out in space.
Well, this planet I can breathe, so I would have been able to start fire. But the Jasper had told us that the snake oil probably doesn't do anything because it's a joke, right? And I was like, I agreed with him. I was like, yeah, it's the snake oil is probably useless. But
so you took it and tried it.
So I was desperate. I'd already used my other thing to cure to cure poison because I got bit by a spider, right? So I had to
get more med packs. I keep running out.
So I had the snake oil. I was like, well, here goes nothing. I don't know what's gonna happen. I took it and it cured my hypothermia. So don't be afraid to take the snake oil.
Well,
But yeah, it worked.
What do you know?
But yeah, it's just random stuff like that is so cool, man. But Fuzzy, like exploring, like you've been just randomly doing stuff, and how's it been kind of searching out stuff to find?
It's been a mix. Like when I'm on the planet, like not in the beginning, it was kind of like do the mission, then get off the planet, go to the next spot or whatever. But now it's like kind of like doing like what Pong's doing and going to the outskirts of like, oh, there's a mine over there. Oh, there's a cave in that, at that particular depot there and stuff. So at this point, my biggest drawback is I got too much stuff on me and I wound up, if there's a place where you could sell it, they ran out of money to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm almost tempted to just be like, just take it for $1 or $0 or whatever. But, like now the goal is hit at least 1 or 2 mines. If one of them has a cave, then that probably means there's an artifact or something like that. And then there's like random like depots and things like that. The random depots, as long as you got those like lockpick things, those are the place to go for like, higher tier loot. Well, not really higher tier, but like if you don't have any purples by now, they're in like behind the locked door in one of those locked chests kind of thing, or at least that's how it's worked for me. Like I can get greens and blues or greens and sometimes purples off of the higher ranked enemies that I kill, but just the sheer distance from one mine to the next, or like the main story mission for the farm, and then there's a ship or a landing pad. I don't even know how many miles away, but basically it's enough where I was probably jetpacking because of the lighter gravity for 10-20 minutes at least in each direction. Verticality with jetpacks is a must. Having the jetpacks for the verticality is definitely the way to go. But yeah, I haven't run into any of the border stuff. About the biggest limitation I've run into is like there was one mission that was in an area I hadn't explored yet, so I had to go to a closer planet or one that I've already explored and then grav jump to there because it was beyond like 90 light years or something along those lines. So it was like, oh, you can only go but 90 some light years. So I went to one that was like 76 and then jumped to that final planet for the dog leg kind of thing. But other than that, it's exploration in space. It's better than what I experienced with Mass Effect and Mass Effect Andromeda, and the whole deal as far as like not having a land vehicle, it'd be nice. I'm pretty sure modders will be able to work something out like that. But
I think also once you upgrade your jetpack, it won't be as bad.
Yeah, like right now my jetpack is tier 3 and I have a gold one, and then the suit that I have gives me like extra airborne or something like that. So
you also get that perk. I don't know if you're talking about the level 3 perk, but the perk gives you, I think, like more fuel for your jetpack and it regens faster.
Yeah. So like right now, the only thing that really hurts me is that I run out of oxygen because I'm
overweight
or something like that. So it's like I can keep on hitting it, low gravity. I can go just about anywhere until I'm about ready to pass out, kind of thing.
Is there a trait that gives you more carrying capacity?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so,
is it probably the
I think it's called weightlifting.
It's weightlifting.
Right.
I
It's
just got it. It gives you more mass or whatever.
I'm gonna have to send Walter White to the gym a little
I also
bit.
found a magazine that gave me 5 extra pounds when I read it. So they have those in there too.
Yeah. There's a lot of Bethesda in this game, right?
It's too much. Just listening to everybody, everybody's different experiences is just amazing.
And we've
to
all
me.
played probably about anywhere between 5 to 12 hours, roughly, something like that. You know,
I think
I'm probably more in the middle there.
8 hours maybe for me. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know how much I've played. I'll be honest with you. I've been playing off and on since yesterday.
I don't
Right.
leave a planet until it's fully surveyed.
Yeah, so I was getting there, but then I wanted, like, I got to be honest, I was out surveying and I got nervous because I heard a ship take off and I was like, there's somebody else on this fucking planet? Like,
Yeah.
and then
I run
like,
towards it.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I want EXP. I want loot. Let's go.
I didn't hear it land. I heard it take off.
Yeah.
And at first I was freaking out because I couldn't see my ship because I was far away from it. And I was looking up at the sky. I see this ship taking off. Is that my ship? I didn't know it was my ship. I was getting nervous, so I was like, I gotta get the fuck off this planet, man, because like there's just people taking off in ships. I didn't even know we're here, right? So, I ended up leaving after I got like 2 animals and like 2 plants and something done or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting because I did hear somebody got their ship stolen, right? Who was it?
Yeah, Drawn TJ.
Yeah, John TJ got their ship stolen off a planet.
Yeah,
What
I was talking
do,
with John
man?
TJ, and he was saying he went to Mars, and he was just like, searching for stuff, and he heard a noise like behind him, and all of a sudden he's like, "What is that?" And he looked around, and someone's in his ship, and he just takes off, and he didn't have any other ship or a way to like leave, so he was kind of just stranded there on Mars.
Yeah,
He was
what do
just
you
like,
do in that situation? Nothing.
like,
right?
well, I can't leave the planet. They have my ship. So.
Mars is if you went to the main Mars base, it has a bunch of landing pads there, so you can just steal another ship.
Right.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think he knew that.
If he's licensed. That's the thing, because I pirated my first ship yesterday right away. Like I went on board, attacked the crew, but I couldn't take off on it because I don't have the license yet. I need to be Class C, so that sucks.
I didn't know you could get a pilot, or
Yeah,
you go to training until Fuzzy said it. There's so much.
yeah, there's training and there's all sorts of stuff. I think the other thing too is if you're a hoarder like me, you're in trouble because the loot and the things that you can grab and hold on, it's everywhere. And like,
Yeah,
again,
I've been having that problem.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
massive problem for somebody like me who can't leave stuff behind. Like I'm dumping stuff in my ship right now. Like when I go up in my hatch and I open up, there's stuff strewing everywhere already because I'm just dumping
space
puking
helmet
stuff
collection.
everywhere.
They're like,
Yeah, oh, fire extinguishers, you name it, it's in there. I've had to pull back from doing so much, but that's the other thing too, is like searching for things within like the bases and stuff. Like books and magazines, like Jasper was just talking about, there's books that'll give you missions. There's magazines that'll increase different stats and that kind of stuff, just like in normal Bethesda games, but you got to be on the lookout for them. Some of them are up high, some of them like turn your scanner on because it highlights them at least blue so you can kind of see them, but there's stuff everywhere. Credit sticks,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you got to
I
be
found
looking
a
for those
huge
credit
fucking
sticks.
a stack of credit sticks.
Yeah.
There was like 15 or 20 just
That's
credit
freaking
sticks
awesome.
just sitting on a desk, and each one had like 200 something credits on it. So I just kept grabbing them. I was like, holy shit, these are just laying here. But they're not like. They
No,
just look
they're
like,
not.
They just look like these little things, right? So
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
even
don't
think.
notice them. That's the whole thing. Because I walked by too, man, when I was clearing out the secondary pirate base that I was helping that bounty hunter with on Crete. I walked past the weapon rack where the coach
Those are hidden
gun
on the
was.
fucking wall.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I totally walked past it. It wasn't until I cleared out the base and I was like going back through, because this is how I play Bethesda games. So I was going back through and making sure I didn't miss anything. And I was walking around with my scanner on. I'm like, what's that on the wall? And it's like weapons rack. And I'm like, are you kidding me? How
Yeah.
did I miss this? Here's this coach gun
there's
right
like
there. I'm like, what?
Helmet
Yeah.
racks, like space helmet
yeah.
racks. and all this
Yeah.
shit.
Jetpack
Also,
racks.
open the lockers. There's a lot of
Yes,
lockers.
Yeah.
in these-
a ton of lockers.
Um,
I got like 33 different unique suits right now.
and that
Like
Wow.
not space suits, but like
That's
like
crazy.
the clothing items.
Civilian
clothing
ones like
underneath.
that.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
still
cool
don't
too.
know how to stack them, but I'll learn.
And that
Uh,
stuff too, the clothing underneath is important too, because it does give you some pretty big bonuses. You can find
Right.
some
Yeah.
nice clothes that actually give you really nice stats. So be on the lookout.
Does that
but
affect you under the space suit?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
think
because
so,
I wasn't
yeah.
sure if that
Yes.
only affects you when you're outside. the suit.
It's additional.
Yeah.
it's additional stuff.
Yeah.
So, quality of life thing though that they do have to, I would hope that they work on or fix is when you're in a scanner, you should be able to open up lockers and chests and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Correct.
You got to turn off your.
Yeah.
You got to turn off your scanner to open up every. That's
Yeah.
gonna.
And then you
that's
accidentally turn off
quality
your
life
fucking
thing.
flashlight. And you got to turn your fucking flashlight
Yeah.
back on.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
What's up, Bob? How you doing, man? Welcome to
I'm
the
doing
show.
good.
Oh my God, Bob got off of Starfield and joined us. Holy
Oh, I'm still
shit.
playing Starfield. Right
Oh, are you? Okay.
I was.
Thanks for
I was
joining us, Bob.
completely drawn into a mission. I had to get to a certain point before I
Yeah.
felt like jumping in to talk. But doing good, enjoying the game so far, and
Yeah.
enjoying hearing you guys talk about it.
What's your thoughts like overall so far on Starfield?
I really enjoy it. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's just the fact that I always have a bunch of stuff open on my PC to like record stuff and like make content, but it's a little bit jittery on my computer because I don't have like a beast of a machine. It's just a decent PC, but I mean, overall, mostly plays smoothly. It's just some weird little things here and there, but I'm addicted to this game. Like it's different than what I expected, but I didn't really have a lot of expectations, and just really enjoying going around exploring space and just the little adventures and the things that pull you away from the main quest, or like you think you go one direction and you end up doing 8 different things. Is just, I miss playing games like this, I think.
Let's talk about expectations. Like for me, and I gotta say, I probably Pong as well. This game is almost like exactly in my mind what I had pictured it to be.
I was just telling someone that. Yep.
Except for because we understand Bethesda, like, you know what I mean, like really well with a lot of the past games, except for some of the highlights that were beyond my expectations, right? Which is like the combat was beyond my expectations. The especially on PC, I gotta be honest, like on Xbox Series X, I would say it meets expectations for there. But playing on my PC, like, and this is probably just because of the PC that it got or whatever. But I mean,
You're also not playing at 30 frames,
right? Just like holy shit, the lighting and the detail and the graphics, like even like the spacesuit was walking around in third person in New Atlantis, and I was wearing this like red spacesuit at the time. And just seeing the intricate detail and the texture of everything. And I'm like, oh my God, it just looks fucking incredible, bro. The lighting from the different atmospheres and all this stuff. Certain aspects are beyond my expectation. But like, as far as what the game is, I think for like a lot of the like Bethesda diehards and stuff like that, it's pretty much a lot of people I think had pictured, which is interesting, and I think that's where there's a big gap between some of these reviewers and stuff, and some of the community, right? Because there is no way in fucking hell that a game that looks and plays like this with as amount of options of things there is to do, that gives you this much gameplay, that is this grand, this much effort, like polished as well, all these other aspects, gets a lower score from the same reviewer than Duke Nukem fucking Forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and like I go back and forth because like at what point there's someone's opinion, right? Where you're like, oh, it's just my opinion that this game has.
But does somebody
like,
have such
Well,
a like
I don't-
ill-advised opinion
the
that they
thing
should
though
not
is,
even be
like,
allowed to like?
it's so
review
weird
the-
when you compare
something
like something. It's so weird when you compare something like this to like Duke Nukem. Like, I don't know if I like those comparisons because like they're two different games, like completely. So like Duke Nukem Forever could be like an 80 for like a Duke Nukem game, but like comparing it to like Starfield is just, I don't know.
But you're reviewing a video game for
but you review the
recommendation,
game. You
right?
don't compare it to other games.
But
you know,
but what is the score for then?
to show how good that game is.
What's a better game, Starfield or Duke Nukem Forever?
But you're reviewing Starfield, like comparing two different review scores for two different games. I don't think that makes sense.
I don't know. I disagree with that because I think that's inherently what scores are for, right? Like, if
I feel like it's half. I feel like there's some games where you're like it does work in its own tunnel. Like you should, when you are reviewing a game, you should basically review it. I do believe you should review it as not really comparing it to other things,
Right.
but it's a genre where you will basically compare it to other things. Like if it's like an RPG thing, you're going to be like, oh, from other Bethesda games like Fallout, what did they do from Fallout that I can kind of base this on? Because when you're thinking about a game's per aggression or like this modern day games, you're always going to kind of compare it like, okay, what did they do in the past? What are they doing now? So it's like a weird thing. I do agree with Jasper and Mav. It's like a weird half thing.
My point is this, like, I agree. I'm not comparing Starfield to Duke Nukem Forever. I'm comparing a reviewer that tried to objectively review two different games. One game is universally known as being garbage, broken, and borderline unplayable, and one of the worst games ever made. That was highly looked at.
Was it the new Duke Nukem or like the classic 2D?
No, it's
Do you remember which one?
Duke Nukem Forever is the one that got delayed for like 10 years.
He gave that
an
an 8?
Gave that an 8, right? So if you want to say that okay, so one person is playing a game giving it a score based on recommending it or to say their opinion on what the game is, they can go and give that game an 8. But look at what Bethesda accomplished with this game, and somehow it's a 7. Now, what is the point of a score at that point if you have no kind of value based on the quality that you're trying to put out there? Like, it's just, I honestly think that overall the game's scoring very well. It's got an 88 on OpenCritic. Almost every reviewer is giving it 9s and above.
Fallout New Vegas got
right?
like 87, I think, even lower.
The same reviewer also gave Fallout 4 a 9.5.
That was the worst Fallout.
He gave Rage 2 an 8, right? Like,
this is definitely better than Rage 2. As much as I love Rage 2, this is definitely better.
Yeah, I love the gameplay of Rage 2.
But like, how can anybody take? At some point, it is like should somebody not be allowed to review something when they like? I'm just saying, like, when your opinion is so weird and like off the cuff and like random and contrarian and stuff like that, like to go out there and give one of the worst games of all time an 8 and then give this grand scale, epic, polished game that is doing things that no other game's done before, like a 7. Like, it just, I don't understand how the scale works.
I feel like
I think you're just looking at other
this
games too much. Like when you're comparing it against this, like
I'm looking at the reviewer. I'm looking at the reviewer.
Yeah, I'm thinking about all the stuff Dan Stapleton has done. Like, there's history to what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Dan Stapleton, but we're also talking more so about the media of IGN over the years. Like there's so many different scenarios of this conversation. I think that's important to put into context to basically just be like yes, there's Dan Stapleton, but there's a reason why people are coming to Game Pass ad for different opinions or to us for our thoughts on things. And that's because what IGN and all these big media outlets have done is I feel like they become this weird sort of I don't know, they've been almost distancing themselves from the community in a lot of ways. And Stapleton is just another example of that. If you've seen his opinions over the years of what he's said, and right now he's in a rage mode of kind of defending himself of that 7 out of 10 score.
But
I don't
how
agree.
Bethesda games are on a different scale, right? But like if there's a generalized review score system that these sites have, how how can you like hold Bethesda to such a higher standard, right? That even if they do stuff that's unmatched and never been done before in this like epic game that every single one of us has played, and I don't think any of us could even fathom this game getting a 7. Like
Just
it's
us
like,
talking about our
but-
different experiences. I've never played a game
So-
like that. So
But like,
Right.
how is it fair for any like? Okay, well, you're Bethesda. You make other big RPGs, so I'm gonna review your games based on what you've done in the past, as opposed to every other game. Like, is that kind of unfair to a developer or publisher to like overly criticize for the sake of how big the game is? You know what I mean? Like, at what point do we not
depends.
just review things for what they are instead of overly critique because of how much attention something has, to the point where it doesn't even get as good of a score as you gave trash shit before because you felt like, oh, well, it's amazing that they even got this game out, so I'm going to like be ultra positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is that fair to anybody? The consumer that's looking at these
Yeah.
scores for information, or the publishers or the developers that have worked hard on these games? It's just really, there's not any kind of, it's just like, fuck it, this is whatever the score is, and it is what it is. Whatever I
Yeah.
say, that's my opinion. So that's what it is. It's an opinion. You can all fuck off. At the end of the day, like it holds weight though, because it has an effect on things, right? So
Yeah.
it's weird to see this amount of people that have overly ultra criticized this game way more than they would any other major game. Games like Jedi Survivor that's fucking broken at launch,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
got like nines,
getting
and,
nines all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, I
I
understand
definitely want to go into that.
not every game's created equal, and everything should be reviewed for what it is. Like an indie game, like Sea of Stars getting 90s and stuff like that, right? Yeah, you review
Mhm.
for what it is. It can't compare to Starfield, right?
I think
I
the
do
only
think-
time you really need to take a developer and compare their previous work is if it's a direct sequel. So like God of War 2018 versus God of War Ragnarok, definitely compare
Agree.
the two.
Fallout 3,
Spider-Man
Fallout 4,
versus
Fallout
Spider-Man
New
2.
Vegas, yeah.
Are you gonna-
Yes, those are the things where you should definitely look at their previous work in comparison to see if the game has grown or where they've taken the IP to. I think you can compare similar genre or similar scope RP or not RPGs, but like AAA titles. Like, so for me, and I went off about this earlier on Boom Show, Jedi Survivor. All right. I love Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor was okay for me. It was way too predictable in comparison. And then it being broken, I forced myself to roll credits on it. Like, performance mode didn't work like it did on the previous one. Did it in the 30 frames, which now, because of doing that in the 30 frames, comparing it to this game's 30 frames, I think it's a closer matchup. Yeah, they're not, well, Jedi Survivor is not a real RPG in any sense of the form. If you want to call it an action RPG, I guess, but I wouldn't count it as such. But comparing those, how that got glaring or awesome reviews like 9s and 10s from these same outlets like IGN and PC Mag and stuff like that, and then they give this a 7. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Star Wars fan. Yeah, I'm more of a Trek fan over Star Wars, but a huge Star Wars fan. I never played any Elder Scrolls or Skyrim or anything. I'm not a high fantasy, RPG kind of guy. Fallout, I really tried my best to get through Fallout 4. And that would have been my first true Fallout per se. And I just it wasn't what I was expecting or hoping
it's a little
for.
older
Yeah,
As
now.
far as
Fallout
like
4 lost the post-apocalyptic feel completely, I feel like.
Yeah, like I was expecting something else, and it didn't grab me. This grabbed me within the first 2 minutes, kind of thing. So as far as like looking at Starfield, I'm just basing it on being, a space game, not whatever Bethesda did prior or anything like that. Being a sci-fi game, with a crew, kind of like your Mass Effects kind of thing, deal. I think this is well above a 7. I would say it's in the high 8s, low 9s. Yeah, I've experienced one or two bugs, like a stuck menu thing saying, I think it was like you had to go into your menu, hit the start button or something like that, and that, I had to save the game, closed it. Well, didn't close the game completely, just exit out to the main menu and went back in. The menu was still there, or that pop-up was still there. Closed it out completely, came back to my last save, and it was gone. So that fixed that.
Yeah.
The
fact that people outlets focused on this, like maybe having bugs to like Jedi Survivor completely, when we spoke about that and how a lot of outlets pretty much ignored the problems prior to release, and then gave it like great scores, and then on this they were like hyper focused, like, does it have bugs, I just felt like how big this game was, and the Xbox tax that people are talking about, I feel like it really does apply mostly to this specific person. I still feel like overall it has a great score, like 88, or I believe it's at, is still a fantastic score. We've seen other IGN have a better review, in my opinion, than that 7 out of 10, and it goes into why, like the exploration, how it does things differently from other games, and why. Kind of what we've talked about even before this section, of what makes this game unique to other games. I mean, there's not a game like Starfield. This game, it's I played 8 hours so far, and I could already tell that this is going to be one of those games that we are going to talk about for quite some time, many years. So I mean, I try not to give IGN any credit. Like I'm not looking at their reviews and stuff like that, but it is a point of conversation, because what Matt was kind of pointing at, where I would say for more of the casual crowd, and the reason why like a lot of people are here in this chat, lovely people, hello everybody, is because they're kind of frustrated from people like IGN who kind of has this weird stigma towards like properties like Xbox and things like that. But with Dan Stapleton and IGN, what Matt was kind of pointing to was kind of how it is kind of important in certain ways, having a game rated like a 7 out of 10, and what that does and how that impacts people potentially buying it, or
is 7 not a great game though? Like 7's still a good fucking game.
IGN gives everything a 7.
7 is not perceived from the masses as a great game.
They're like, oh, it's okay, I could pick it up on sale.
7 is perceived as like just average from consumers,
and this game is not at all average,
especially in a year like this when we have so many good games. Like if someone trusts that as their review source and they see a game get a 7, they're going to be like, well, let's pass it up until the DLC comes out, or let's just wait and see because it's mediocre. And I definitely don't think this game deserves a 7 by any means.
Yeah, considering by their own word, 7 is good and 8 is great. So it's just a weird comparison, especially when you compare it to similar games in the genre. Sci-fi, AAA. You give one a 10 and you give the other one a 7.
He also reviewed Everspace 2 and Chorus. Gave both of those an 8.
I mean, those are different games. Like,
but I know, but it's the same point that I made before, Jasper. Like, when you're making a review, yes, you want to make it like, this is my review of Starfield. You're not necessarily comparing it to other games, but throughout the review, he's going to think about Fallout, what they did in Fallout, what they did previously, and he's going to factor that into his score. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what he was like. Oh, this is nothing like what I imagined in 7. It's okay. Like, he went into the review kind of with a like, prove me right.
Yeah.
Then why didn't he give it like a 5?
Prove me wrong, essentially.
Well, he still wasn't being objective.
As bad as he's getting shit on right now, if he would have given it a 5, it would have been 10 times worse. 7 is the safe negative score that he could give. That's my personal opinion. Like, maybe you can call it conspiracy theory, but if you want to try and give it like a low score and be able to get away with it, that you know is going to impact the game, bring it down, and try and drive hype away from the game, then you give it a 7, because that's an average score that they give every fucking thing a 7, right?
Right. Well, it's their business model. Like they know that they have a lot of influence and there's a lot of factors that they balance, but if they decide to give something a lower score, like I know, like there's a lot of in the background. I think there was a big scandal a couple of years about it, or maybe 10 years ago about it now, that like basically like reviewers weren't getting copies of games because they were giving too low of a score. So IGN's not going to dare give a big game like this less than a 7. But I mean, it feels like these days with reviews in general, like I'd rather hear a recommendation than a score, just because like a lot of these games aren't launching feature complete from anybody. And basically it's more or less like a 3-star system. It's like 1 star if they think it's okay and play it if you want to, 2 if it's pretty solid, and 3 if they think it's amazing. So like it's just all the factors of a big corporate business that they have to balance, whether it be the public or the gamers, or who's giving them the keys and where their advertisement revenue is coming from. Like all of these things are affecting their decisions. And it's like 3-Bit had said, like that's why people trust the opinions of smaller creators these days, because it just isn't as genuine.
Right. Anyway, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, Pong, on it?
Same as always. That's why I said a long time ago, if we're going to continue to have reviewers and we're going to continue to have this scoring system, then there has to be an official group that is certified reviewers that all follow the same guidelines and provide a more accurate review. Again, a review is an opinion. So at the end of the day, if he wants to give his opinion, it's a 7, so be it. But there is weight behind it. Like everybody's pointed out, they know there's weight behind it. In fact, IGN gets bigger weight than other websites or media outlets do on Metacritic. So their score affects that more so. And again, for those of us here, most of us, it doesn't freaking matter. We don't care. The scores are the scores. It doesn't matter. But for the larger, wider audience, for the masses, it still matters. That's why IGN still has millions of subscribers, because there's millions of casuals out there who aren't in this community, who don't pay attention to news like we do, who simply click on IGN anytime a new game is coming out, read the review, and make a decision, right? So that's the problem. And again, at the end of the day, everybody does their reviews in a different manner. Some people don't even finish the game and give a full review as if they did. When I look at Dan Stapleton, he has been public about his issues with Xbox and Microsoft. He has been public, and so everybody knows that. That adds fuel to this fire. Why he chose, and he admitted today when he was going on his rant, that again, he's the editor-in-chief or whatever, or the review editor-in-chief.
He's like the lead review.
He's the lead guy. He pulled rank and requested to do this review
over other people who would have been better suited to do the review.
Correct. And that's when I have a problem, because obviously he wanted his name attached to one of the most read reviews on IGN this year, which of course is going to be Starfield. He wanted to insert himself into the conversation. Again, these people aren't dumb. What I hate is when they turn around and act like victims. You're not a victim. You know exactly what you're doing. You're more than welcome to your opinion. If you honestly believe this is a 7, so be it. You're one of that's a reason why I would never trust you. But the fact is, he knows the power behind that. And the fact is, he knows he can put his thumb on the scale a little bit when it comes to the overall score, because of IGN's weighted system that they have with Metacritic. And he can do that himself. He's got an ego trip. Again, these reviewers sometimes believe that their shit doesn't stink. They do. They think that they're better than all of us here and all the masses out there because they are professionals. They get paid to do this stuff. So obviously they must be better. And they come off that way. And that's the way Stapleton does. It's his prerogative. But at the end of the day, this is why I say if we're going to continue to do this, we've got to have it goes the same way for the sites that give out stars instead of actual numbers. It's the same for the sites that give out whole numbers but don't do half numbers or 0.75s for their scores. All of that affects. Metacritic simply turns a 3 out of 5 star into a 6 or a 60. That's how that's what they do. And that drops scores. And again, for me, I don't give a shit. I don't care. But for the devs, we know for a fact in their contracts that there are bonuses attached to certain titles, to certain devs, to certain studios and publishers who do get bonused off Metacritic, right? And they do get bonus off of Game of the Year awards. And all of that is affected when somebody like Stapleton obviously wants to come in. He wants to be one of the outliers. He's going to be the biggest outlier because he's IGN, because he represents IGN. So therefore he knows that. So he walked into this with already an agenda at hand. Again, you don't have to love the game. Again, giving a score of an 8 doesn't mean that you absolutely loved the game. It's not a 9. It's not a 10. He chose the 7 and everybody pointed out. Sorry, just real quick, man. I'll let you go. Real quick. Everybody already pointed it out. Is the 7 to me a bad score? When I see a 7 on a game as a bad score, absolutely freaking not. I grew up in an era where real scores, real reviewers that were genuine about their scores, we used to see a bad game as a 5 and below, right? And once you got below 5, it was pretty much unplayable. Nowadays, though, the way that this industry has changed, the way that people think about games, a 7, as everybody pointed out, is like the best. Not obviously I'm going to give this game a bad score that you can do. You give it a 7 and you say, hey, it's a 7. I liked it. It's okay. It's fine. He was doing that today. But at the same time, they know that 7 to people's minds nowadays that read that review doesn't mean it's a great game or doesn't mean it's a game that's worth potentially the $70 to play it or the time to put into it for a lot of people. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. He has a history of making anti-Xbox comments all the time, right? You can just go down and people point this stuff out all the time against this guy. And whatever that he believes in his score or not, he has a bias. He calls himself a PC gamer first, whatever. Quote tweeting an Xbox post that says, the worst place to play Xbox is on Xbox, pretty much, is what he said. He also said a knee-jerk reaction for him for Starfield was an 8, but then after reading his review, he could only justify giving it a 7.
He said a lot of things.
There's a lot of, it's not just him, right? I mean, there's obviously we all knew that when a big release like Starfield comes out, there's going to be those contrarians or the clickbait articles or people that just don't get it or whatever and are gonna give it a low score.
I mean, you were saying with Xbox that you should only buy it to play Netflix.
It's like, yeah,
it's just so many. There's so much evidence to like. He's acting like it's ridiculous right now. If you guys are seeing it, I'm pretty sure this is what he wanted. But essentially, he's on Twitter right now. This is exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be an outlier out of everybody. And IGN is the biggest, review site, which is why I felt like he needed to insert himself. Because how many times does that happen? I don't know. Where someone's like, no, I'm taking over a review that's supposed to be slated.
Well, he's a reviews editor. I think he decides who gets to review what.
Okay.
Yep. He does.
So I don't know.
He pulled rank. Felt like he wanted it.
He pulled rank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulled rank for this specific one. which is crazy. Just knowing his history, and he knew it would get attention.
Yep.
Which is why he
So,
probably did a lower score.
At what point is it, like to Pong's point, are also about a kind of a generalized review system, right? I think part of the issue is inherently video games have bias and they have preference, right?
Mhm.
And anytime anybody plays anything, that's going to come through. And it doesn't necessarily mean platform. It could be genre. It could be game mechanic biases. It could be any little aspects, right? And everybody has their own likes and not likes. And so when you're reviewing something, it's really your own personal experience. The issue is that when you are mass media, like biggest games media outlet or several other big publications, it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as like a stamp of approval from a games conglomerate, right? Of like, this is what we're recommending you play, as opposed to this is what Dan likes and doesn't like, and he just has weird opinions sometimes because he gave Duke Nukem Forever an 8, right? So you can like take anybody's own opinion for what it's worth. The problem is it's not, people that read this review don't see it as Dan Stapleton. They see it as IGN, right? So when that happens, it holds more weight than other publications and also all these other websites that do it too. Now, yes, individual reviewers should have right to their own opinions and things, but at what point does ambition and quality not play a large factor into what you're scoring as well? Like, and that's where the standardized type system you're talking about, like Game Informer used to do it all the time, where they had like the scales.
Yes.
Okay, and this category we're giving it this category we're giving it that, this category
I've
we're
always
giving
said
it
that was the best way. Graphics, sound, gameplay,
replayability,
replay. That was the best way ever to do it.
So
break it down that way.
Like when review sites used to do it this way, instead it's just, hey, this is what I think, and I'm super important. So what I say stands for the entirety of IGN, pretty much. Even though people at IGN be like, hey, remember, this is just one person's opinion. Well, shit, the internet doesn't see it that way. Social media doesn't see it that way. They just see it as IGN's review is this, right? So it plays a factor when you have these massive games like this drop, and you have contrarian or strange points of view about a game that doesn't jive with the general masses, right? It's used for console war stuff. It's used for lots of different reasons, and also affects at times the pay of bonuses to publishers, which I think they need to get rid of, from publishers to developers and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yes.
But the overall biases come through, and the stand behind it and be defensive about it. Also, I get that, being defensive about your own personal opinion, but when you have a track record of showing your biases clearly out to the public about the same platform you're reviewing the game for, doesn't bode well for you, right? So I just don't think I don't really like reviews, but they are important, right? So the weird thing is, how do you fix this to where a game that has the ambition and quality that Starfield doesn't have the biggest games media outlet have a contrarian's weird take on it?
Well, that's the point of meta and open critic, is so you get a
But
this has
this has a detrimental effect to OpenCritic and Metacritic, because IGN themselves is weighted heavily on there.
Right? That's where you hope that the other reviewers outweigh those.
In this case, it did, right, to where it's still at an 88. But if there wasn't those couple of people out there doing stuff like that, then this game probably would have been like a 92, 93, right? And that stands a lot differently than sitting at an 88 to a lot of people, right? So I don't know. I think it's shitty. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think Dan Stapleton himself is a piece of shit. He's been known to be one for a long time. Kind of comes across as an asshole, as much as a lot of the IGN people do. So anyway, just putting it out there. I haven't read some of the other negative reviews out or whatever, but overall, 90% of the people out there love this game, and it's unfortunate who reviewed this for IGN.
I just wish this is all social media, and this is all media in general. Again, negativity pays the bills now, and it drives attention, and it's changed the way that things are approached. We had another example of this, Mav, when somebody pulled the clip, which I hadn't seen, and I actually went back and watched the whole entire thing again, of Eurogamer and who they had covering the Starfield Direct.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just, for me, and again, people are always going to come back and say, oh, you just want everybody who's always going to be positive reviewing your favorite stuff or reviewing your games or talking about the stuff that you like or whatever else. When it comes to the game, when it comes to entertainment, I want people who are excited for things. I want people who genuinely have some type of, passion for what they're doing. And if you do have a bias, if something's not up your alley, if it's something that you just don't enjoy, again, I wouldn't want somebody who only plays COD and Madden to show up and review a Bethesda RPG. Like, that would be totally outside the norm. But when you're a major media outlet and you have tons of people working for you across a broad spectrum of different opinions, different likes, and different tastes, when you're reviewing something, or when you are broadcasting, an event like the Starfield Direct, why would you not put a couple people there who are actually excited to see what's coming? Not critical. Of course, you can be critical of what you see. You can be critical in your review, but at least have that like first initial impression. Like, I'm excited to see what this is going to be. The two people that they had for Eurogamer, both of them started off the entire thing with yeah, here we go again. I hope they show me something that I'm going to actually get me interested in this. And the other one, she's got obviously a real life, which again, totally understand. Everybody's got real life, but she's like, I don't care about your 1,000 planets. I don't want to hear about those 1,000 planets.
I forgot about that video. Yeah.
Yo, listen. Okay, so this game probably is not up your alley, but why does Eurogamer put them out there, as Mav just said, representing Eurogamer as a whole, broadcasting to, I don't know, I think it was a couple thousand people or something in their chat at the time? Why do that? I'm sure you could have found one or two other people who are actually kind of excited for a new Bethesda RPG that didn't have this. Here we go. Oh, there's Todd. Hi, Todd. Tell me something, Todd. Like, that's the part I don't understand. But like I started this off by saying, that's where we are now. Negativity draws in more attention than positivity and goodwill. Again, all you have to do is look at Twitter, or X as it is now, and people who are overly positive, they get people that attack them. I'm like, why would you go after somebody who's overly positive? Like, what are they doing to hurt anybody? Like, when has positivity hurt anybody? It's just, that's where we're at in 2023. And it's sad. And it's gotten pervasive throughout all of media. This is what they do. And again, Stapleton knew what he was doing, and he was going to drive more views with his name on it, both good and bad, to IGN, which his job.
He's replying to me right now. Which
yeah.
I'm not even gonna go.
Is it in DMs?
It's I tweeted to him, and he's replying back right now. He called me dishonest, which
yeah.
But,
of course. Again, it's always a
dishonest 3-bit.
So it is what it is. Like I said, if somebody's fair and upfront and that's their opinion, that's their opinion. It is what it is. But there can also be agendas behind it. There also can be bias behind it. And you don't get to hide under your profession and say, oh no, that's not it. Look at my other reviews. And then you, as the head of the review section, probably ordered them to retweet out the Forza Horizon review to try to cover up and say, oh, look at us. No, see, we praise Xbox games. That was probably his order too. That's what I don't like. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
He's a snake.
Man. It's crazy.
Anyway,
I didn't expect him to.
Yeah, Alonzo, Steam reviews are great. Now that I'm on
is
PC,
it, like,
going through Steam,
positive or
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying in general.
Steam reviews can be kind of like sometimes people play for like 1 hour and give it, this game's great because it has
Sure.
tits in it or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's like,
well, yeah, but you can kind of
I
tell
just-
because it's regular people writing it. So for the most
Yeah.
part, you're right, Jasper. But you can understand what they're doing. They're not hiding, right? They're out there in the open saying something exactly like that. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that review's worthless.
I don't
right
on
there.
Steam. I just look and see if it's like mixed, like
Yep.
like positive, overwhelmingly
Yep,
positive,
because
or whatever.
those are actual
Right.
purchase copies. Those are people who have played the game, and there's a good general feeling you can get from those for sure, because it's actual customers, consumers, right? Gamers like us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like I think the
power that
concurrent
Steam
players are
has
like
though is
two.
like,
Yeah.
they, if
It could
there's
be a
something like
swarm.
with Overwatch 2, like they've just nuked the game, even if it's not bad or whatever, just because of stuff.
yeah,
that
the hate train.
Blizzard's do.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Of course. That's
Yeah.
still possible.
Well,
Yeah, there's still going to be like a group thing, like I hate this game, and it piles on. Everybody hates it, But I've seen some pretty good Steam reviews. I was just bored. I was looking through them, and they were describing what they liked about it. And I think right now it's at 200,000 concurrent players or something. One of the most played Steam games of all time.
Yeah, it hit 230. So that was the
Insane.
peak, and that's paid. That's $100 purchase.
And the game's not even out yet.
correct. That's
by the
$100
way.
purchase
So-
that they had to buy,
It's also
Yeah.
a work day
Wow.
too. So
and a work.
So
day.
how well is this game selling if it's at the top of the Steam charts for early access, where most people paid probably like $100?
Everybody that's playing it on Steam right now paid $100.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's
it's
a lot of
pretty
money.
the people that paid this 70 or whatever it is won't be able to play till next
Yeah.
week. So
Yeah.
how are you feeling about the some of those reviews, Bob?
I mean, I feel like if you take a step back and you look at it though, like if you have all the other major publications giving it like 8 or above, and then all of a sudden you have IGN with all the stuff, like literally if you look at strategies for how people try and like get clicks, or like Pong always says, like negativity sells, like it just looks like they're trying to be a little bit pick me and get people to start arguments with them. Like they know that if they give it a low review that they're going to get the attention that they want, but it just doesn't really look good when it's so much lower than like what everyone else is saying. Like it just obviously means that they're either acting in bad faith, or that they put someone on the game to review it that is not being objective. Because I feel like at the very least, like anytime you go into a game review, like the first step should be to be objective and see whether or not they delivered on their promises, and not really compare it so much to what you expect the game to be, because at that point we all have high expectations. But how often is it that like we hype up these games so much in our mind that they really don't live up to those crazy expectations? Like, oh, you realize there's those checklists of like, I wish it was like this, I wish it was like this, I wish it was like this, but then getting the game though, it's like, oh, this is exactly what it should be. It's basically Oblivion in space. Like it's, I don't feel like they're being objective, and I don't feel like the type of problems that they picked out, like I just reread it here again when I jump back in, I don't think that the type of issues that they're describing really justify the score that they give when they say that after they play the game for 10-20 hours that, oh, the game finally got its hooks in me. It's like, okay, it had a slow start, or like it took you a while to learn, but you're still addicted to it. What does that say about the standard of this game? It's definitely, I would say if you can't put a game down, like it deserves at least an 8 just for that. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not sure what their standard is, because it doesn't seem like they're holding up any.
that kind of goes
Yeah.
with what's going on with the kind of funny guys right now too, right? Because that it's a
Yeah,
very
they were
interesting-
hating on it too.
So,
That was crazy.
Like, and I like.
I don't even know about this.
I like them, right? I'm just be honest. I
Mhm.
like Greg Miller. I like
Yep.
Paris. I like Tim Geddes. I like that crew. But it's weird to see how much they seem to be enjoying something, and then to be so overly critical as a point to, on their scale, give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, there's like, I never experienced anything like this before. 3 out of 5. It's just like, okay, well, it's everyone has their
And they're-
opinions and everything.
Yeah, it's just I don't. don't understand sometimes, right? Like, what drives this kind of stuff? You know, like we could have like one of the, and this happens in movies too, right? Let's just be real. We could have like the most biggest, epic, most badass, grandest thing, but it's hyped out to hell, right? It's it's hyped all get out, right? And everybody's like, oh my god. But then when it comes down to it, it's like ultra criticism now takes a hold, right? We have to be more critical of this than anything else out there. And we have to make sure that every little thing that we think is a flaw impacts it more negatively than anything else we ever talk about or touch, right? What drives that? Because that's the core essence of what we're talking about here, right? Like, when this game is so ambitious and grand and all these different things, and it's hyped, it has more hype than anything we've seen in a long time. For some reason, because of that, it drives people to be ultra critical. Some, not all of them. Some people to be ultra critical to where it's looked at differently than every other game and criticized more for same things. And this happens across the board. Even sometimes things are overlooked with some games and not on others, like bugs and glitches or performance issues and things like that. Sometimes it's the big games that get overlooked, right? Sometimes it's the not big games that get crapped on, or sometimes it's a game you've never heard of that gets praise like all get out because it's came out of nowhere. It's amazing. But, oh yeah, it runs like shit and it has a lot of bugs, but we're still going to give it a 9.
Well, that's
right?
unplayable on PC for me.
I get that. Yeah.
but that's affecting 1% of people. So,
right. So but like my point is like, what drives that? Is it a cultural thing where because it's so big that like now it has to be ultra thought out? Like we really have to make sure we are ultra critical here of every little thing, as opposed to every other game. They're just like, hey, this is awesome. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Or I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because it was one of the most amazing things I've ever played. But now it's like, oh, this little aspect of this game doesn't make me quite feel the same way I did when I did this other thing in this other game. So, you know, I'm going to give it a 3, right? Like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Just as a human being.
Yeah.
Like, why do people have to be so objectively critical about exciting things when other things that aren't as exciting, they just let slide through or whatever and just accept them for what they are?
I'm really trying to understand it because I listened to the kind of funny their review essentially before I played again. And when I jumped into it for myself, like they had the complaints that we all talked about, like it was slow. I had the NPCs were ugly. This is stuff they said on the thing.
No fucking land speeders.
NPCs were ugly. The environments were ugly. Some of the quests, like the side quests, I didn't connect with compared to, like, these are things they were saying where I mean, their opinion. It sucks because they're like, that's their opinion.
What's
but for
the
me,
last
I've
big open world game that you could like do whatever? Like, because I'm wondering if it's like now is a thing where people just like they need like someone to hold their hand and walk them through a story, or
I'm
Well,
thinking
they
like
clapped
that's
back
what-
on that with Ragnarok, even though that's not full open world, but they
Well,
were like, oh,
yeah.
there was a lot of hand holding and people complained about that.
Well, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 16 got like praised for it and criticized for it. It got great scores. It didn't affect the score at all. Like, I think it's sitting at a higher score than Starfield is, right?
I think it's
No.
kind of an
It's
echo
the
chamber
same.
effect, though. There's so many voices, like we're gonna hear a lot from all sides, really, though. So
yeah.
it kind of bounces back and forth till it finds a place in the middle. I guess it's hard to avoid that.
It just
which I think is what happened with Fallout New Vegas. When that first came out, critics hated it. Do you guys remember that? When that game first came out, like people were like, this is terrible, this is trash. Years later, people realized how good that game was.
Mhm.
Like critics. I feel like the fans obviously
Yeah,
Well,
like
all
people
fans-
were upset because it was an Obsidian game and it wasn't quite the same as like Fallout 3, right?
Yeah, I think they were just like, this is not the same studio. I don't really remember what the main complaints were. I just remember that time period where critics were
Yeah.
like, Fallout New Vegas is terrible. And now people are like, yeah, that's one of the best Fallouts. Like,
Yeah, that's
I
the
just,
only one from back then that you still hear about as like, oh, like you don't hear like, oh my god, Fallout 3 was so good. You
I used
hear,
to-
oh my god, New
I'd
Vegas
say
was so
Fallout
good.
3 and 4, or Fallout 3 and New Vegas are kind of the ones people flip between the best on. Like,
yeah. And I
I'd
feel
say
like
it's
maybe it's going to be
it's-
similar, but
I don't know. Like in the last year, though, if you had to ask me, like how many times I said someone brought up the fact that like a certain Fallout was so good, not one of those times have I heard someone go, "Oh, do you remember Fallout 3? That game was so good." It's always like New Vegas, like that everyone's nostalgic about.
people
at least
usually
the
bring
people
that
I've
up
talked
because it
to.
was surprising to a lot of people how
Yeah.
good it was. And I'm just remembering that with critics and what they thought about that game, and I feel like it's a similar situation with
Mhm.
IGN now, and even the review scores is similar to Fallout New Vegas. I believe Fallout New Vegas reviewed at like 87. Starfield is at 88 right now. I feel like Starfield is way better than New Vegas so far. That's just me, but I've only played 8 hours. I don't know, like the late game, and people say it gets even better, but I'm gonna judge that for myself. Yeah, it's a weird thing, and I feel like it's the same thing of how people critique that game. Like, oh, I wish the other developers made New Vegas, and oh, I didn't like the quests, and they're saying like the same thing almost for Starfield, like their criticism. So I feel like, is Starfield going to be one of those games where people realize like, oh shoot, this is like a game of the generation? Or I guess we'll see. For me, I don't really care. I'm enjoying the game to the point where I'm just confused by critics, like of what they've experienced, and how they're saying like side quests are terrible. Like, what? Side quests to me are like main missions. Like, it's just like little things like that. I don't know, but everyone has their opinion. I
don't
suppose.
think reviews for this game are going to matter anyway, because I think more so with this game it's word of mouth. And wait till like the guy comes in the office by the water cooler is like, yo, I did this shit crazy last week on this game, and then like someone just sitting in a cubicle next to him is like, oh, what the fuck is he talking about? And then he gets up and he's like, what are you talking about? And
Yeah.
that's how it, like that shit spreads.
Yeah, and then the other guy will be like, yeah, but I got a 7 because IGN is what they read, right? Like, because IGN is IGN, you know, like it's gonna come up with the casual conversation. Like that's how much the reviews impact and influence people. Like it does. Like I don't think it should. Because ultimately you decide what's good and what's not good, right? Like reviews are just a reflection of somebody's opinion, and I gotta tell everybody out there, like I think review scores are important because they kind of send it like an overall like aspect of like somewhat relevance of kind of a quality or whatever. But like an individual person's score is no different than the random person you talk to on the street that hated your favorite movie of all time, right? Like these reviewers, they're just people, right? They get paid for it. Like we have a YouTube channel where we have luckily now we have a couple hundred people watching, so some people care about sometimes what we say or whatnot, but none of our opinions are any more valuable than any single person in the chat except for the idiotic trolls, right? They can all fuck off. They're worthless piece of shit, space, and human existence. They don't deserve to even be able to have access to the internet. Besides that, though, there's like no difference between my opinion and its value and Jasper's dumbass opinion about the combat in Starfield and anybody else in the chat that has an opinion about the game. What I don't like is you see people continuously troll or try and bring energy down or hype down or or
Spawn
like
says
be-
energy demons.
Yeah, or be the ass. Always have to be the asshole in the room and just try
Mhm.
and bring everybody down. That shit I don't accept, right? Like, but every single person's opinion is equal because it's to their own experience, right? And we're all gonna have a different experience, but we have to realize is like an asshole just because they're part of the biggest games media outlet in the world for gaming. At the end of the day, is still just an asshole, right?
And yesterday, that was like an example of people trying to bring the excitement down of people who probably don't even intend to play the game. Like, it's just weird that people like I've never seen that in PM and the PM. Like, have people who like Sony fans kind of come in the chat and just try and
That's
trash
because
the
they
game
had.
in our
It's because no one was on fucking Twitter acknowledging them yesterday because they had to go seek out their attention yesterday because everyone
yeah,
was
they're like
looking
everyone's
for Starfield
busy
shit.
playing Starfield. They're like, why is no one responding?
Why is nobody
to my,
talking to me?
Why is no one talking?
Because we're all playing Starfield.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
They swarmed
needed their
our chat.
hug.
Like, goodness gracious. I've never seen that. But
Yeah.
listen, at the end of the day, we're gonna enjoy this game. We're gonna play it. And give our honest take, of course. Like Mav said, I completely agree. My opinion is not better than your opinion, or anybody else's in the chat. But we're gonna also state what we think. And honestly, what we think about the game is not reflective to some of these things, but that's also our opinion. So we'll see.
And we all know the best part is it's on Game Pass, so you can decide for yourself whether or not you like the game without paying anything more than $15 a month starting next
week.
Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great.
I seen this thing. I've seen this thing where it's like 10 out of 10. You could play it on Game Pass. 9 out of 10. You could play it on Game Pass. And it went all the way to like 1 out of 10. Like, yeah, I'll still play it on Game Pass. It's like either way.
After you guys have played this, though, do you guys feel that this is going to be the thing that starts really moving the needle for Game Pass and getting people to subscribe? Or do you think, like, with the success of like the Steam sales, that people are just going to outright buy it because it's so good?
I think this one has equal success in both Game Pass and sales. Because people are going to want, especially on the PC side of things, because of mods. I don't think all of the mods are going to wind up coming to console, but I think just this is like the one that grabs the attention, and then you got Forza, and then you got Hellblade, and you got some of the third party ones that are coming to Game Pass. I think this quarter will probably be one of their biggest growth quarters as far as new memberships. But I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, now it's finally worthwhile to, do the subscription, for all the ones that canceled their subscription before with the announcement of the delay. They're going to come back, and you'll have new people come back, because this game is I don't know if it's going to catch fire word of mouth as much as like Elden Ring, but I think it's going to be pretty damn close, if not exceed it, within certain areas. But I think this thing, I'm going to say by the 6th, they probably have at least 10 million players by the 6th, or shortly after the 6th, and then by the end of the month, they'll probably be able to say they sold, 8 mil or 10 mil, if they even decide to even share that number. But I think this thing does 10 mil within a month, and probably over 10 years, it'll probably be close to the 20 or 30 mil.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah, and then 10 years they'll be selling to you on a toaster. So
we'll play on 8 different systems.
No, it'll be in your built-in phone chip or your built-in watch chip that's in your wrist. You can, play it on your contacts or something.
The first game you can get tattooed on your brain.
It comes with the purchase of your new Tesla or whatever.
Oh, I seen someone actually. Their power went out in Florida or whatever. And they were like, okay, I'm gonna install it in my Tesla. Starfield, essentially, and their power went out in their house. They played it on their Tesla, so that's pretty cool.
I saw Boxenberger playing it on his ROG Ally. He said he's been having a good experience there.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
I feel like something like that, like I think it's
too small
so
of a screen
good
for
that
me for that game, though. It's like,
Yeah.
People were saying it wasn't even launching on Steam Deck, so
yeah,
I don't know if they ever fixed that or not. But
I can't do it. I wouldn't do it. Not yet. Until they.
Yeah, he said he's been enjoying it that way. Like, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
But I mean, that's, up to individual preference. I usually hate almost every game on a small screen, right? Like Vampire Survivors, right? Shredder's Revenge, Ninja Turtle shit like that. Like, hey, give me those like all day on small screens, right? Oh, Mario platformers.
I don't know that fucking. We were all when all 8 of us played fucking Ninja Turtles. You could play that shit on TV, and we were still losing each other.
That was crazy.
It was
when
chaotic.
We played that. It was like no lag, and the screen was just freaking chaos. That was fun.
Yeah,
I think they just had an update, or they're about to have an update.
They're adding someone to it. I can't remember who it was though. They're adding a new fighter you can be. I think.
I heard there was like new maps and stuff too.
Yeah. Man, I know we're all thinking one thing right now.
Of course. We're all gamers first.
Like, it's just when are we gonna end this damn show so we can play Starfield? Let's get to a couple super chats here, and then we'll get everybody out of here. But yeah, this has been a fun show. Like, obviously talking Starfield and all the things we've been doing was the best though. Like, every single one of us different experiences so far. And tonight we're probably each gonna play another 6 hours or whatever.
have even more stories to tell.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Just
roll
doing
into
split screen tomorrow.
Split screen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Pong,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. This old guy can't do that anymore. Shout out to J-Rock, by the way. I know sometimes he lurks in our chats. J-Rock posted 33 minutes ago that they finally got him. They arrested him.
Yeah.
And so, did you see that? And somebody asked him how much did you have? And he goes, I took down ships, bro. Ships worth of loot. And he lost it all because he got arrested.
Wow. That's crazy. So here we go. Spartan661 hit us with $5 earlier. It says, I want them to give us as many options as they did in Morrowind. Then the nerf version that was Oblivion, and that game was nerfed for Skyrim. Truth. You talking about like you want Starfield to have as many options as Morrowind as far as like RPG mechanics, or in what way? Yeah, the RPG mechanics got a little bit nerfed for each game, I would say. Starfield RPG mechanics they're
back.
Yeah,
they're closer to Oblivion than they are Skyrim.
I would agree with that so far.
That new fucking persuasion thing, I don't understand it fully.
It's like a percentage.
I just failed mine. I was trying to break into a jail cell, and then like I almost won, but then I lost.
There's like food you can eat that helps your persuasion.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to say like what they want to hear.
Snickers.
4 options, so it's like.
But is it always like what's the green? I don't understand.
The green is supposed to be like guaranteed, but it doesn't always work. I've strictly.
I think it's more
yellow.
likely. Yeah.
Whatever is yellow seems to always work for me.
I go with the red. I thought the red one was good to go with.
No, they completely like fight me when I choose
Yeah.
the red.
I know.
They're like, what?
I'm just kidding, guys.
I was like, okay.
No, I gotta say, I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about stuff. The voice acting for all the NPCs,
the
and
music
like
too,
random quests and stuff, absolutely fucking great. A step above anything from Bethesda.
They got a Star Trek voice actor in there.
Yeah,
Got a big cork. Yep.
Nice.
Deep Space Nine.
Voice acting has been excellent. Even the side mission I've been talking about, the Ground Pounders one or whatever it's called, like there's so many different random people I've been talking to in that mission. Is like every single person's like seems like a real personality. You know what I mean?
No Tom Cruise though.
No Tom. He's gonna be in the DLC.
Wait, did they release that full list yet or no?
Yeah,
There's some of it on IMDb.
Yeah, they were putting it out. The past week prior to launch, they were putting out all the NPC actors and the actors out there. So yeah, no, I think if Tom was in there, somebody would have found it.
Is there any highlights for people that would be surprising or?
No,
not
just
really.
high quality people with a ton of experience, obviously.
Right.
And that's it shows, obviously. So that's a good part. But the audio overall, just in general, I've said it before, but the audio and the music, Enon Zur absolutely crushed the score. He absolutely crushed moment to moment. Like when things are chill, there's this just subtle music that blends in.
It almost feels like
going.
Star Wars in some parts where it's like you're just sitting on a abandoned planet and you have like those like just random beats that come up and it's like
it's just so cool. And then when when a battle starts and they've got multiple different songs for each kind of situation, so a lot of times you'll as you play it, you start to recognize them, but for the most part, like, you never know what's going to start playing depending on the situation. I think there's like 70 some tracks, 79 tracks or something like that. It's crazy. Just so well done. Again, top notch. They went up and beyond in pretty much all the production of this game. It's crazy.
The Sly Crow in the chat said voice acting is great, but not the eye animations on the faces.
Still dead eyes.
It's still dead eyes.
Sometimes I agree, but sometimes the facial animations is really good.
Expressions.
Like, I was like, whoa.
And
like,
again,
sometimes it's surprising.
Out of everything between the Series X and like on a higher end PC version, like that's the most drastic difference I've seen is the NPC faces. Right.
I'm playing on PC. I'm gonna pay attention to that.
Pay attention to the random NPC, even your companions. Like, what's the lady's name again?
Sarah.
Sarah Morgan.
Because I haven't met her on PC.
Her on Xbox Series X versus like a PC is like drastically different. It's
like, your save carries over.
I've been flirting with her.
Yeah, I just I don't like I like playing on my couch and stuff like that.
But you said you haven't met her on PC though.
I haven't. I remember I was streaming with you guys, and then I jumped off. Yeah.
Listen here, brother. You haven't met her yet.
All right. So we also got a JMac member for 10 months. Said, shout out to Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Salute, guys. Shout out to you, JMac. Shout out to the Graybeards out there. Yeah. You're awesome, bro. Alvin with $5. Alvin, appreciate you. Says, Dan was trying to become Gene Park, but made himself Grums instead. Tragic. Gene Park does great work. I like Gene Park a lot. I like Paul Tassie's review a lot. His opinions sometimes are off the cuff at times as well, but he usually is saying a lot. He's usually being genuine with some of his takes. I'll call him out on some, but like
he used to write a lot of clickbait for Forbes. I'll tell you what.
yeah. But his review was like pretty good, and it wasn't just his review. The thread he had explaining and talking about Starfield and the things he did and explaining things on Starfield on Twitter. If you go check out that, he posted a lot of screenshots and explained a lot of stuff in the game. I thought he did a pretty good job with that as well. Also, Rob Dadon 202 with the $5 says, just based on game quality, this game can't be a 7. That's my thing. Is like quality wise, it's like
how's it
it's
even?
like
Have you had it?
8.
Have you all had any bugs?
Yeah.
I have.
Well,
I had a guy sitting there looking like he was seizuring out. He was dead for some reason. He was a scientist.
The usual just bodies clipping and stuff through doors and just normal stuff that we always see. Anything
game-breaking
massive or anything like crazy? No,
I think I might have had a crash on Series X once.
Yeah.
I did crash. Oh, I did. My game did freeze on Series X once, but then that was it.
Yeah, that
this
was
is by far the most
I
polished game, though. Still,
they
weren't wrong.
100%.
My Vasco is like constantly fucked in my spaceship. It could just be my spaceship, but
or
it could be your Intel graphics card.
That's unplayable on PC.
I will say that I wish there was a land cruiser for the fucking planets.
Yeah, me too. That would be pretty cool.
Nothing. I don't have to go hyperspeed on the fucking planet.
I bet you they do that.
You just
for
need a
DLC.
Mako. Somebody's.
I saw a merchant. They had like looked like a Star Wars dewback just walking alongside him. So like, it'd be cool.
Really?
If you could ride one of those.
That'd be because they talked about that prior too. A lot of people thought maybe because you can mentally control the animals that maybe there was a way that you could domesticate them and ride them, but unfortunately not. That would have been cool though.
What are
Should be able to
the
just hop
To
on
terramorph
Vasco.
Yeah, exactly.
hop on Basco's back?
Basco. Yeah.
What were the things
Basco's slow as hell.
that
So
what are the
They're
things
terramorph.
that you stand on and has the handles and you just lean back and forth like that and roll around?
Segway.
Segways, yes.
Yeah.
Let's do some space segways, or how about some space Vespas? We'll just get some space Vespas. Or
Dirt Vespas.
yeah. Or
Oh, get your
scooters.
dirt scooters.
Some space scarves.
They go
Space
4 miles an
vests,
hour and you can walk faster.
Be
Yeah.
fucking great.
sipping on some space
I would love it,
Americanos.
dude. That'd be the easier ads, right? Yeah, I didn't even finish the super chat. We got sidetracked. Rob Don 202 hit us with a 5. Says just based on game quality, this game can't be a 7. But IGN and GameSpot aren't the ones that were craziest. Ones that gave it a 5 or 6
Oh.
were just out of line.
That unknown place that got a review code somehow that gave it like a 58.
Yeah, I don't even talk about those because
Yeah.
those ones are just like always like just hey, let's try and find a way to blow up our small site. You know what I mean?
But
It's
they
like
gave
everyone-
like Halo a 95. They were giving other Xbox games high marks, so it was just weird.
Yeah.
They did point. Someone did point that out, like, oh look, this 5.8. But then someone's like, well, Halo, they gave it a higher score, and that was missing a lot of features. So
Sounds
it
like
is
he's
a-
mad it wasn't Halo.
Yeah. I thought this was gonna be like just like next
I
Halo
thought this
game.
was a Mario
What
Kart
were the
game.
rumors? There's gonna be a Halo planet. There's no Halo planet.
That
Anyway.
would be sick if there's a Halo planet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mods,
now
man.
now I want a Halo planet.
I've
Thank
been
you.
looking for so many Easter eggs and I just haven't found one yet. It's like I know there's got to be one there somewhere.
Things I didn't know I needed until right now.
God Emperor Sofakim, member for 4 months, says Stapleton is getting wrecked on former Twitter.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, I mean, I said something. He was like, "You're dishonest," and then people are kind of just wrecking him right now. And
Yeah.
I said my piece.
Yeah.
I said my piece.
I mean, again, you go back and read his article and you look at what he was critical of. I don't know what he was critical of. If he is truly a Bethesda fan, which is what he was telling 3-Bit, is to read he didn't read my opening paragraph because he claims he's a big Bethesda fan. But if you read what he was critical of, I don't know how that's 3 points.
What do you say he
worth
was
of
critical
docking.
of?
The fast travel system. What was the other one?
He's
the fast travel system and what else?
The fast travel system, the stinginess of the skill. Here, I'll just read it. For all the criticism I have with the stinginess of the skill system, especially in the early hours, it does. Oh no, wait, hold on. I had his whole brief synopsis here. The stinginess of the skill system early on, not hand-holding him and not explaining things enough, so he felt lost during the opening 12 hours. He said it doesn't get good for 12 hours. Okay, that because of these
I
things.
mean, it gives you a fucking waypoint.
Right,
to follow.
exactly. Because it didn't have a
you
great
guys-
mini.
You guys
because it
know
didn't-
me, right? You guys
Yeah.
know me. I need my hand fucking held across the street sometimes in video games, and I
Yes,
haven't
that's
been
true.
asking y'all shit, and I'm
No.
further along in the story than any of y'all.
And that's what I'm saying. This
So,
guy
like-
claimed, and he claims to be a big Bethesda fan. That's where I'm like,
I mean, I could
okay.
understand like the menus, like getting to
Sure.
certain maps.
Yeah.
Like I could understand
Right,
that.
my
but he didn't
biggest
like he didn't
yeah.
like the map. He didn't like the map because it wasn't detailed enough for him. Right, the
I don't know what
close
that
up
means,
map,
but-
the
oh.
what the
Oh,
map where it
okay,
shows
yeah.
you. Yeah, it's not detailed enough for him. And what was the other major point he had? Oh, the combat was just okay,
Mm.
but it
It's
could have
so
used a
weird.
VAT
If you're a
system.
Bethesda fan
right,
and you say that in your intro paragraph, and then you
Yeah.
follow that up
That's
by
a
like
good point.
combat
3-Bit.
yes,
That's
was
a good
okay.
point.
Like this is the best combat Bethesda's done.
Yeah.
by
What
far.
did he? How he played Fallout 4, right? He gave it a 9.5.
he must have
Whoa.
called Jasper.
What did he think about Fallout? What did he think about Fallout 4's combat?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Because
know.
he
Right,
loved VATS.
I'm saying-
He loved VATS.
I'm-
That's why.
I'm giving you. Well, they have
Yeah.
bats in the spaceships in this.
Right.
fucking
Well, no, he
game,
calls
like-
that out. He calls that out, and he says the closest we get to VATS is in the space combat system. But he didn't like the fact with the skill system that you had to put skills like a skill point, and he said you only get one per level, and you have to use a skill point to like use your booster.
So
pack.
he doesn't want it to
He didn't
be
like that.
like an RPG.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't. Then he doesn't like the older RPG style, where it's a little bit slower progression.
So you're saying
He
he's
wants
a
to be open.
fraud.
I'm just saying,
a-
I don't know how
he's
that's
a-
three
that
dot
Bethesda
points. If
fraud.
he's because he said that once he got going and the game got going, he loved the missions. He liked the side missions. He liked all the meat. Right? He liked all the meat of the game, but he didn't like the couple side dishes that much. So that's 3 points.
So he read it
Like,
back
I-
and
Doesn't
said, yeah.
yeah,
3 points.
yeah. That's
Like if I'm
Right,
going
yeah.
to get a steak dinner and I don't like the broccoli or the asparagus or
Yeah,
something,
right.
I'm not
not-
going to give it a 7. Like,
right.
No.
Right.
Like, because right now, my biggest criticism is trying to figure out like how everything kind of works with like the map and your
Yeah, the
kind of,
control
like,
layout's just like
traversing.
clunky, so I
the-
think
the
that
layout.
causes problems with all the menus and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out like exactly how all that works. That's
again-
my biggest criticism.
Fallout 4
I wouldn't
9.5.
take-
Have y'all used the fucking
Yeah.
fucking wrist what's the Pit Boy shit?
Yep.
I mean, talking
Yep.
about clunky
That's what I'm
menu
s-
systems
that's
and
what
like
I'm saying.
stuff. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
okay.
Here's exactly.
I feel like the
it is
pit was a
ver-
lot easier than this, though.
It is verdict. This is the things that he says. There are a lot of forces working against this game. The combination of
You.
the combination of disjointed space travel, non-existent maps. They're there just because you don't like them. But this is also the guy who gave a 9 to Jedi Survivor, who still does not have a great map system, by the way. So non-existent maps, aggravating inventory management, and a slow rollout of essential abilities. That's what 3 points is worth, or what?
I agree with them on the inventory. That's the only thing.
Sure. No, the inventory, that's a quality of life thing. But
Yeah.
how many RPGs have you played and you're a big Bethesda fan? That's always been a Bethesda problem. He even says that in the article, classic Bethesda problems with their inventory. So you're going to,
I wonder what he rated Diablo 4 at.
I don't think he did. He
Yeah,
didn't
he
do
did.
that. He didn't do that review.
No.
Nope.
I think they gave it a 9.
Yep.
I
I don't know. Like I said, none of that seems 3 points to me. But if you're a Bethesda fan and the rest of the game was great Bethesda, right? He said he loved the main mission, the main stories. He loved the side
It's
content.
being critical for the sake of being critical.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
That's not how you should review things. Like
Right.
I'm a reviewer, so I have to make sure because this game is so hyped, I ultra knock it for every little thing. That's not how you should review stuff. You just
Right.
fucking play the game. And
He didn't get OP enough.
if
to
you like
quickly.
it, like I don't know,
I don't know.
fraud. Sorry. All right. J Mac with $5 says, "Shame on us for letting the butthurts ruin our experience. Shame on us. We get to play. It's most
Yeah.
important. F them." Appreciate you, J
Yeah.
Mac.
Exactly.
Chris
That's what we
Jones
do.
with the 5 says, "After the show's over and I eat, I'm gonna try to play on my laptop at work with hotspot. Then,
Ooh.
if that doesn't work, I'm gonna play on my phone.
Good luck.
It's
Well, you
not-
don't need
it's
the
not
internet, do you?
online, so
Yeah.
just make sure it's downloaded on your laptop beforehand. Unless you talk about playing on the cloud. It's probably talking
Yeah,
about
if
playing
you're
on the
playing on
cloud.
the cloud,
Yeah.
you might be kind of.
Yeah, because
We'll see.
yeah, good luck with that. Hopefully it works. OCDgamer says of giving it a 9.5 to 9.7. If I had to score the first 10 hours or so that I've
Mhm.
played, I would say probably 9.5.
Mhm.
Roughly. Like it's some fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
well, what are your guys? It's hard for me to give a score right now because I
Yeah.
feel I'm 8 hours in.
yeah,
If I was forced to give a score,
the story matters, so I can't like.
Yeah.
But right now, that's what I would be feeling.
yeah. What have I experienced? What I've experienced right now, it's like a 9.
Mhm.
So far.
I just like
But the menu thing is bothering me. I want to get good at figuring out how the mechanics work, how to properly go to a planet like that, and try to figure out the inventory.
But
that I still haven't figured out.
There's a
which
much
might
tough
dock a point,
content here, 3-bit, that we're just still learning mechanics in this
Yeah,
game with the amount of time it takes to beat a game like God of War.
freaking
Correct.
So
Which is not a
Jasper, you should refrain from answering this question until you're
Yeah, I was gonna-
fixed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a certain issue, so my score is a little.
Yeah, what's your
They need
I
to
wanna
fix
hear.
your Intel shit before you can
Yeah.
score. 'Cause,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
yeah,
it.
no, you can say what you want. It's probably like a 7.
It's like that's where I'm like,
Stapleton.
it's like, is it a 9? I can't say it's a 9 yet. It's like also I have an issue that's affecting, so it's taking a point down. So it's like, is it 8.5? Is it an 8? I don't know. So it's like that's where I'm like, I can't say yet.
Yeah, wait till you play it on PC. Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Once I beat
And the 30
story
frames
and-
doesn't help. It's like,
And once your PC is fixed with this shit, like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a beast, right? So, I mean, as long as they don't have continuous issues with Intel, which I'm hoping to God for you, that's not a thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah,
Was that
Jasper
on other
Stapleton.
PCs like Intel was a thing?
It's
or was
just
that-
Intel.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they didn't give Intel a copy, so they couldn't get their drivers ready.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
apparently.
like Jasper went and got a rare graphics card that nobody
Yeah.
owns.
I mean,
Yeah,
only
nobody
like
else knows.
1% has this thing. So
Yeah.
it's
Your
like,
Dollar General graphics.
they just started making them last year, so it's like no one has
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Just-
the problem with like PCs. That
Yeah,
always bugs me.
There's so many different
You have to,
things.
you have to, when you're developing, you have to freaking develop for all these different cards, and you never know.
Well, that was Jasper Stapleton's take. So, what about you? What about you, Bob? From what you played so far, what would you have?
I mean, I feel like I have a hard time putting a number on
Yeah.
it just because like I
Yeah, it's so
haven't
early.
like I can tell I've just scratched the surface and like I mean I feel like there's more than enough here to say that it's a 9. Like it definitely still needs like the quality of life improvements. Like I'm currently making myself a big old chungus with the extra encumbrance because I'm a big old loot goblin like Pong was mentioning earlier. Like I just grab everything and sell it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's gonna be it's basically gonna grow into being a solid 9 or a 10, but I do feel it's a must play game so far. Like it's an
Yeah.
experience that I don't want to miss and I really haven't been able to pull myself away from. So I mean, is it a perfect game? No, but is it one of the greatest games I've ever played? Quite possibly. Like it's just amazing. Like I feel like it's not really fair that it gets knocked down for things that like other games haven't even tried, because I definitely get like the Mass Effect nostalgia and things like that, and it's like you couldn't even like fly the ship around in Mass Effect. So it's like it's kind of filling those gaps of what like other similar space exploration RPGs have kind of fell short on, and I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like it's making me realize like how much I missed playing a Bethesda RPG like this. So definitely a 9.5 or a 9 for sure if I had to put a rating on it so far. But I don't feel like I could put a number on it really at all, like ever probably. It's an amazing game so far.
Yeah, hard to put a number this early on, but if I had to, 9. I want to know if I'll get better with the inventory system and all that different stuff. I'm sure I am, and I want to know where this story is headed, because I'm actually very, very intrigued with where I am currently, where the story is kind of going. So, yeah, completely agree.
Right on, man. What about you, Psycho? Fuzzy?
I give it.
Okay, no. It
But
just
Jasper,
it's just his slow delayed response thing going on.
No, Mike was muted, so
Sounds good though.
I give it I don't know. To be determined.
to be determined.
Okay.
All that for a
He's-
TBD.
Right.
Jesus.
Great,
I'm the
This
master
dude's
of
playing Starfield.
anticipation.
He's in the stars right now.
great thoughts, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks for chiming in.
No, it's just you can't fucking rate it at only being 10 to 15 hours into a
Right.
game like this. Unless you're Dan Stapleton and you pretend that you've been playing for 90 hours because you leave it. You just leave your character sitting there spinning in circles. But no, it's one of those games that you have to really get through the thick of it and really then give it a good genuine score, because like what I'm playing so far, it would be an 8 because I don't like the whole walking around. It kind of gets tedious of a little bit. Like if I had a little scooter I can jettison.
You put
it
some
wouldn't be
points in
as-
that boost pack.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. I can really look and scour the surface a little bit better than going on, because I know I'm missing stuff. Because some of these parts are just so massive, and I can't spend 24 hours on each planet like Pong. I can't do that. I gotta get through there and just see what's out there. But it's one of those games that the more I play, the story is really good. Things are opening up and revealing themselves to me. I'm like you, Jasper. I'm a double agent, so I'm a pirate slash UC Vanguard, I think, some shit like that. So yeah, it's interesting.
Right on. Appreciate you, Psycho. Fuzzy.
Right now, it's sitting at a 9. Like, unless the story takes a major downturn of some sort, I would say it's a solid 9. The issues I've had so far have been minimal, just 3 bugs, a menu being stuck after time passed or whatever. One guy was floating in one of the caves. And then I got stuck temporarily on like a desk and chair, but luckily the boost pack got me out of there. So, yeah, I would say it's a solid 9. Perfect, no, but it's everything that I had hoped for as far as what I was expecting out of a space RPG or sci-fi RPG kind of a game, where I'm gonna live out a cross between Star Wars and Star Trek, probably more Star Trek than Star Wars, but we'll see about that story twist down the road. But enjoying it so far. I don't see how it's a 7, but yeah, I would say it's a 9. And just for the record, I predicted that it would hit between 88 and 91 because I knew that there was going to be media bias. And it looks like
I knew it would be media bias. I just didn't know it hit that hard. I said 92 or 92 was my score. Like, dang. I don't know what I think Matt was astronomical. I think he said like 95.
9.5. I mean, this game's scale starts for me at a 9 because of the quality and scope of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have
like,
to say, my score is a 75 out of 10.
okay, 75 out of 10 or
You're
7.5.
No, 75 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, just the grand scope and quality of it so far, it automatically starts my barometer at around a 9 because it's just that impressive. I mean, it's fucking impressive when you turn it on, and it's like it impresses you. It's like, wow. Like, if you play a game, you're like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is amazing. Like, that starts at a 9 at least for me and goes up from there. Like, and now it could fall apart, but I don't think see that coming. Pong Soul, what about you?
Well, I think I gave it the biggest praise I probably could on X today when I made a post and said that I can see this easily becoming my favorite Bethesda title of all time, which you guys all know I prefer high fantasy. It swings between Oblivion and Skyrim depending on the day of my favorite all-time Bethesda title. Sci-fi is a close second to high fantasy for me, but at the same time, I didn't think, again, it's exceeded my expectations. So easily right now, where it sits at the quality of life stuff that I kind of talked about, I'll give it a 0.5 point doc, but I'm with you, Mav. I would say a 9.5 right now. So that's easy. And like I said, the highest praise I can give it is that I can see this game becoming my favorite Bethesda title of all time, which is saying something. Because again, Oblivion and then Skyrim, I didn't, outside of a new Elder Scrolls, I didn't think Bethesda would ever make anything that would, push me away from one of those or both of those. But I think they're on their way to doing it with this game. This game's absolutely freaking incredible. The best of every sci-fi game that I've ever played is rolled into this game all in one.
Mhm.
So
It's getting there for me too,
huge.
Pong.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
And
I want to
again,
beat
Mass
the
Effect.
story first, and then I could confirm that.
And I don't, again, for me in Bethesda titles, I don't care about the story. So if the story is as good as what people are saying it is, that'll just be the cherry on top of everything. Because to me, it's not for Bethesda games. I don't play Bethesda games for story outside of cool, characters you meet and cool side quests and that kind of stuff. I play Bethesda games for the sandbox. I play Bethesda games for everything I can do in that world, the exploration, me making my own adventures is why I play Bethesda games, why I love Bethesda games. So again, if this story is the best Bethesda story they've ever made, which is what most people are saying.
But you know what, Pong?
Yep.
That's what I like about Bethesda games. Like my path and your path are we're gonna have completely different stories. So
exactly.
Yeah. Freaking love it.
Anyway, all right. Let's get everybody out of here. Appreciate you, chat. We got one more super. Let's see here. Vic the Click with the 5. Appreciate you, Vic. It says, watch me fly a spaceship drunk. Should be easier than drunk driving on Forza. No trees in outer space. That's right. There are enemy ships.
There's still asteroids.
You though. There are asteroids. Right on. But Psycho, where can everybody find you, bro?
He's
Sorry, I muted again.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's Friday. Starfield's been out. If you have not been playing, try not to see the spoilers, but once it does, give it a try. Inform your own opinion. It's in Game Pass if you have it, so give it a whirl. And you guys find me everywhere on social media. Psychonauts 8. You can find me here Mondays, 10 o'clock on FSP. And this Wednesday, don't forget, we are starting Fun Pop back up for a bit. We'll see how that goes. 10 o'clock on Wednesday, I believe. Correct? 10 o'clock Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that appointment.
What we
Okay,
were talking
Tuesday.
Tuesday. The 5th, yeah.
So Tuesday. Sorry, folks. Tuesday. And then here, always on Friday nights on Xbox Ultimate. And thanks for coming out. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
bro. About you, Fuzz?
Oh, just thank you for having me on. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Greatly appreciate you guys checking us out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Man, I'm probably gonna fall asleep and I guess that's a good thing you can't crash a ship into the planet, but going to play some Starfield right after this. Just glad to be here with you guys. For those who want to hear my rambles and rants, anything gaming, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter. You can see me on Shop Podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And then right back here for FSP at 10 p.m. On Eastern Standard Time on this channel for Monday. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
Thanks, Fuzz. And Bob.
Thanks for having me on tonight, you guys. I managed to pull myself away from Starfield a little bit long enough to come chat, so thanks for letting me pop in late. Great talking to you guys about everything. You guys can find me on the website formerly known as Twitter as Game Pass Dad, or I also have a YouTube channel where I post a bunch of short form content and the occasional long form video, and stream on Twitch Wednesdays and weekends at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, sir. 3-bit.
Great time being on the show. Love y'all, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. A lot of good topics, and of course, sharing my love for something like Starfield. I've been waiting for Starfield since for 10 something years since I've heard about it, which I think it's been like 9 years of my life. So been waiting for this game for a long time. I'm excited to finally talk about it with everybody. You guys can find me on Twitter at i3bit. There was an Aflac kickoff game today on ESPN, and it was also on Fox. It was a game. I forgot who was playing, but a couple of the commercials I worked on actually premiered today, and I believe it's also going to premiere another game tomorrow. So just look out for some Aflac commercials. It's been really fun working on those, and getting to work with Dion and everybody over there has been interesting. I've dived in from game design to now commercial work, and it's a different world. It's definitely a different world, and I've been enjoying that. It's been kind of taking me away from the content creation side a little bit, but I always try to drop in these chats when I can, because I love y'all and appreciate it. So thanks everyone. I'm probably going to stream Starfield tomorrow. We'll see what we're doing. No work this week, but family stuff. So we'll see.
Right on,
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, sir. Jasper.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Yo, check it out. It's Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. I'm playing Starfield right now. That's what I'm gonna be doing after the show. That's what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. So you can check that out. Monday, Friday, it's 10 p.m. Eastern right here on the Fun Speculation Network with FSP and Xbox Ultimate. And then, like Psycho said, Tuesday we're bringing back Fun Pop. That's also at 10. So yeah, all that fun stuff.
Your CO2 was getting really high there.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
should probably fix it.
I got so much weight. I'm trying to get to my cargo bay.
Gotta fix
I
it.
want to get that lung damage.
And Pong Soul.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this quick because I got to take care of dog and get back to Starfield here. So everybody, appreciate you all stopping out tonight. Again, been a lot of Starfield. Brain is still locked in. Just I was dreaming about Starfield last night.
Yeah,
when
I had a
closed my
dream.
eyes. It was crazy, crazy. Yeah, no joke. That happens when I play this much. So, but thank you all for coming out, brothers. It was fantastic to talk Starfield with you. We're going to be talking about this game for the next 10 years. So let's get down and get ready. And all of you who have not had a chance to jump in yet, I appreciate your willpower for holding out until official launch day. There's only so many games that do this to me, but there's no way I could do it. But all of you that have, congratulations. You are in for a treat, and I can't wait to see more people jump into this. Yeah. But otherwise, real quick, Pongsoul on Xbox, Pongsoul on X, formerly known as Twitter. You guys know the drill. Thursdays, PM in the PM. Fridays, back here on Xbox Ultimate. But tomorrow morning, Saturday mornings, you got to be ready for Living Split Screen, me and Steel. And I can't wait to get Steel's impressions. I've gotten a little bit out of him in DMs, but tomorrow morning, he's going to have a lot to say. Casual Bethesda fan is going to be talking Starfield, the first real Bethesda game he's jumped into from day one. So this is going to be interesting conversation him and I are going to have tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Be there for Living Split Screen. Like Fuzzy said, tomorrow night, it's the Shop Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, PTK Blam's channel. Tons of Starfield talk there as well. Listen, PTK is all in on this game. I can't wait to hear his conversation as well about this. So listen, y'all, it's golden age of gaming. It really is. Generational game, in my opinion. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it's just a game of the year for you. Maybe it's not even a game of the year for you. That's all cool. Let's have some talks about it. Play what you love what you play. And I'm going to talk to you all real soon.
Thank you, sir. See you all soon. Appreciate you, chat. You've been absolutely amazing. Gonna play some Starfield. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Oh.